Chapter 1260, Association System Activation. Chapter 1260, Association System Activation. Boss. Li Yuanba screamed fiercely and could not help but cry out. The other 7 people also looked at Long Fei. Their minds were shaken beyond compare. No one in the Chaos Realm knew their names. They had never come in contact with anyone else. They had always been waiting. He had been looking for Long Fei. Only the people of God's martial continent knew their names. But now, Long Fei could not help but shout out their names in a split second. However, Long Fei's appearance, the heavenly spirit asked curiously, "You really are the boss? How did you become like this?" Their appearances had changed, and they couldn't guarantee anything. Long Fei laughed excitedly, not caring about the heavenly spirit's question at all. "Tianling, I just brought you out of the underworld. Your mother entrusted me to take care of you. You are a Yuling guardian warrior. Arhut, I picked you up on the street. I caused you to fall into the path of demon, enchanted by hell, Buddha's heart, and become a demon fighter. Lin Yusheng, when your heavenly water force exploded in Yuling Island, your clan was massacred, and you had the mission of reviving your clan, called God, as Water King Kong. The first person I met when I entered the mortal domain was you, Chun Tianfei, falling down from the cliff, protected by the divine armor. And your home is the general's mansion of the God Emperor City. You are called the Holy Armor King Kong. Yes, it's Oya. Your broken sword technique was taught by me, your blade waltz was taught by me, and you are also my woman, teacher Oya, my sword force King Kong. Black Knife Uncle, Yunner is fine now. She is safe. You can rest assured, arrogant Knife King Kong. Lastly, it is the venerable dragon subduing Doyen. You were created using the heads of the 18 principle of College of Martial Arts Training, using the Arhut King Kong. Other things can be forgotten, but Long Fei would never forget these things throughout his life. 8 King Kong, his brothers of his life, were all good brothers that came here with him during the fire. At the moment he saw them, Long Fei's heart was trembling. He was so excited that he was trembling, as if he was looking at a family member. Long Fei looked at Li Yuanba in the end and said, "Yuanba, your name is mine, and the giant spirit coffin on your back is mine as well. You possess the divine giant spirit blood vein in your body, and you're the first King Kong, also known as the Holy King Kong." The 8 King Kong had 8 types of attributes, a completely different kind of power. At this moment, the 8 of them no longer had any doubts. All of them were extremely excited, with tears shining in their eyes. They couldn't say what was on their minds. "I knew it, huh? I knew it. I knew that your 8 King Kong wouldn't die so easily. Gu Tong Tian is nothing. How could he possibly kill you? Ha ha ha." Long Fei was wild with excitement. When he heard about the 8 of them being killed, Long Fei's heart was filled with intense pain. He believed that the 8 King Kong must still be alive. Even if he was to die, he would find a chance to fight his way to hell. Li Yuanba laughed foolishly. "It's really boss, it's really boss, it's really boss, huh? It really is the boss." To be able to say all these, other than Long Fei, who else could it be? Aoya could not resist, and immediately rushed forward and pounced into Long Fei's embrace. She began to wail, "Where did you go? Where have you been all these years? I miss you. I miss you. I really miss you. I really don't want you anymore. I really don't want you anymore." Ooh. It was a heartbreaking cry. Long Fei retreated slightly, pain in his chest, and endured it with great difficulty. He lightly patted Aoya's back and muttered, "I will never lose you, never again." At the same time, ding! 8 King Kong, Sword Force King Kong returns. The system sounded out. Li Yuanba walked up and looked at Long Fei as he said in a heavy tone, "Boss, we've finally found you. Ding! 8 King Kong, the Holy King Kong has returned. Boss! Ding! 8 King Kong, the Yuling Guardian Warrior has returned. Ding! 8 King Kong, the God. Water King Kong has returned." With the sound of a boss and a system announcement, the 8 King Kong returned to their positions one by one, just like the 8 war gods returning to their original positions. All of them were extraordinarily powerful. It was a complete mess. After Kong Kim returned to his position, a system notification rang out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for reactivating God's Martial Sect. Ding! Congratulations to the guild established by the player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level 2. It has been activated. The heck, it's finally activated, haha. The God's Martial Sect was one of the things that Long Fei had brought from the God's Martial Continent into the Chaos Realm, but it had initially been in the state of seal. In other words, the time to teleport Lu Luoshi, the 10,000 dragons and the 10,000 dead dragons was not far. How could this not make Long Fei excited? At this moment, Xiao Yao President was a little confused and thought in his heart, what is going on? Could it be that Long Fei was the mastermind behind this? But why are you snatching the elixir that you refined? That's not right. They seem to have met just a moment ago and have known each other for a long time. Furthermore, were those things that Long Fei mentioned? Could he have been to the lower planes? These 8 people are so special. Just like him. Everyone in the auction hall was thinking about this question. The sudden recognition made them a little confused as to what was going on. However, the Hell Gate, the Bounty Gate, and the 3 great bosses of the Miri Alliance sect did not think too much about it. Their goal was very simple, to take Long Fei's life. So, in that instant, the powerhouse suddenly moved and shouted, Brad, give me your life. Before he could finish his sentence, his move had already landed. Very quickly, however, Li Yuanba suddenly blocked in front of Long Fei. Wiping the bridge of his nose, the giant spirit axe in his hand trembled. Are you King looking to die? Buzz! Red light covered his body and his anger filled the sky. One after another, divine power that could be seen with the naked eye was released from his body. The moment the Bounty Gate's attack fell, Li Yuanba's figure moved. Boom! 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 3 heads, 6 arms, and 3 gigantic axes came crashing down. Crack! In the air, the body of a dead dog fell to the ground. His body was slashed 3 times. His face was pale and blood spurted wildly. He did not even see how Li Yuanba made his move. Li Yuanba stomped his foot on the head of Bounty Gate and said angrily, You want my boss life? You think you're worthy? Finished. Li Yuanba did not kill him, and instead raised him up to Long Fei with a kick. And then, Li Yuanba carried the axe on his shoulder and said naively, Who else wants to harm my boss? Come. I will take care of him myself. Chapter 1261, Killing the 3 Bosses. Chapter 1261, Killing the 3 Bosses very arrogant, insolent to the point of being a complete mess. If not, then he would not be Li Yuanba. Moreover, after finding Long Fei, his strength had become even more ferocious. The excitement, the power that had been suppressing his heart for 3 years, and the power within his body were suddenly unleashed at this moment. This kind of power was earth-shattering. Long Fei was completely shocked. It was also at this time. Long Fei squatted down and looked at the Bounty Gate's boss, then said, Kill me? Continue. The powerhouse's eyes turned sinister as he said, Long Fei, do you think you can escape? No matter what, you won't be able to escape today. You will die for sure. Without waiting for him to laugh, Long Fei's leg heavily smashed down. Crack! The head exploded and the last bit of blood on the head disappeared. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Bounty Gate's level 1 elder for obtaining 81,000 EXP, 6,500 holy source points, and 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spiritual artifact Profound Essence Armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system sounded out a few times. Did the ancient spiritual artifact pop out? All right, absorb the golden cudgel. Ding! The energy of the main artifact has been replenished, and there is 8 levels of energy in front of me. 8 levels of energy? There are 2 other bosses. Will they drop ancient spiritual artifact as well? If that was the case, then that was just 10 layers of energy. Was 10 layers of energy a node? Will it trigger the superpower of the 2nd stage of main artifact? Long Fei's heart was filled with anticipation as he shouted out, Mother asterisk her. It's my turn to touch my people. F asterisk CK those two. As soon as Long Fei finished his sentence, the 8 of them said in unison, understood. All of them were incomparably arrogant. The old man from the Hellgate and the old man from the 10,000 Alliance sect were stunned. The 2 of them looked at each other, and at this time, they did not choose to escape, but rushed forward at the same time. Boom, boom. His steps were like thunder as he charged forward. Flip him. Li Yuanba took the lead and swung his giant axe horizontally, continuously. 2 life powerhouse flew high up into the air, and another figure of Li Yuanba slashed down from the sky. Boom, boom. The 2 were shot down. Black flame. The black flaming blade, energy, furiously slashed downwards. Boom. Sword spirit, piercing heart. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Asterisk Vudra subdues demons. Boom, boom. It's my turn. It's my turn. And I, this big fatty. Backlash divine power. The 2 of them, 8 King Kong wheel, were just killing them. The 2 of them did not even have the chance to retaliate as they smacked down like 2 flies. You still want to fly? Again. Fly again? Beat him to death. There was no way for him to survive. These 8 people, awesome to the point of being a complete mess. In terms of Long Fei's own strength, he was not their match. Too fierce. When the last 2 people arrived at Long Fei's feet, Long Fei squatted down. Looking at the 2 who were struggling to stay alive, Long Fei coldly smiled and said, Hellgate, Myriad Alliance? Kill your father? Is it good now? The old man from the Hellgate snorted. Brat, don't be too complacent. Just you few want to oppose the Hellgate. You just wait and see how you will escape from here today. You will be endlessly hunted down by the Hellgate. You will live in a nightmare forever. Not just you, but the people by your side. Don't even think about escaping. Hellgate will make you unable to live in peace. Just you wait, ha! Long Fei coldly laughed. You want me to never be at peace for the rest of my life? Don't worry. The one who will never be at peace will not be me, but the Hellgate. As soon as he finished, Long Fei punched down violently. Blood spurted out and hit his face. Long Fei did not even blink his eyes. He was previously worried, but now he wasn't worried at all. Return of 8 King Kong. God's martial sect activated. Building your own power is just around the corner. He wanted to bring the people from the God's martial continent into the Chaos realm to fight for hegemony there. Hellgate, 9 secret warrior family, Zhang Wushuang, almost die. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Elder of Hellgate, for obtaining 84,000 experience, 6,800 holy source, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spiritual artifact Fireglass Sword. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. Ding! The main artifact is filled with energy. It has 9 levels. As expected, 3 big bosses, 1 for each person and 1 for the ancient spiritual artifact. Long Fei did not give the Myriad Alliance sect powerhouse Luo Li any time to talk. As long as they angered him, whether it was Hellgate, Bounty Gate, or the Myriad Alliance sect, they would all die. The punch landed. The powerhouse of the Myriad Alliance sect had died. As expected, another ancient spiritual artifact exploded and was absorbed by the Golden Cudgel. The main artifact's energy has been filled up. We have 10 levels of energy. Ding! The moment the system beep sounded, Long Fei was extremely nervous as he listened to it with confidence. Congratulations to player Long Fei for raising the main artifact's energy to the 10th level. You have obtained 100,000 experience points, 100,000 holy source points, and 10,000 points. The sound disappeared. And then, there was no later. Damn, what about the power from the 2nd level? Has it been opened? What kind of power is it? System F***CKU. Can't you clear my ass with a single fart? I have already filled myself with the power of 10 levels, but you still do not want me to activate the power of the 2nd stage. Long Fei cursed angrily in his heart. I'm so unhappy. The energy from the main gun filling up the 5 pieces of domain treasure could be used to fire a shot, but the second stage golden cudgel had already filled up the energy in the 10th layer. So was it still unable to trigger the energy from the second stage? What the heck is he trying to do? Ding! System notification. There is not enough energy to activate this second stage. Long Fei was speechless. Even a 10th level is not enough. You don't want 100 levels, do you? Holy **T. Long Fei felt his scalp tingling just thinking about the 100 pieces of the ancient spiritual artifact. He really wanted to know what was the second stage of the main artifact's power. Was it summoned by the sun, Wukong, or some other force? But now, he could only wait. Main Gun could not kill Zhang Wushuang. This was because Zhang Wushuang had an extremely strong defensive main artifact. Long Fei wanted to activate the second stage of the power, and then blast Zhang Wushuang to see who was the fiercer one. So what if your Emperor List S are ranked 9th? However, although the energy did not reach the power to activate the second stage, it was still powerful because it could trigger the power of the Sun Wukong possession. Just by relying on this power, Long Fei was able to sweep away any existence. Let's go. Let's go. God's mountain gates' legs were trembling. Long Fei raised his eyes and said faintly, "Leave? You want to leave after acting cool? Did I let you go?" Chapter 1262, Volume Question of God Seizes It. Chapter 1262, Volume Question of God Seizes It. You want to leave after acting cool? Long Fei smiled and stared at the God's mountain gate, who had made an explosive sound. Junior Master shouted, "Long Fei, what are you trying to do? Let me tell you, my father is a super powerhouse of the Emperor List if you dare to touch me." Not waiting for him to finish. Without waiting for him to react, he slapped the back of his head and shouted angrily, "My boss does not like to speak with his head raised." Bam! God's mountain gate was immediately sent flying by the fatty's slap and heavily laid at Long Fei's feet. At this moment, he lost his temper. There was no longer that arrogant look from before. Instead, he had a fawning look on his face as he said, Brother Fei, your lord doesn't remember this lowly person. Please forgive me." Long Fei said, "You can ask me to spare you, but take out that volume question of God." Huh! Junior Master's face sank and immediately became nervous and said, Fei, I'm afraid this is not good. I spent more than 7 million Xin crystal to buy it, and this was prepared by my father for my big brother. I cannot give it to—" Long Fei said, "What did you say?" Yi Zicheng glared. At this moment, 8 King Kong surrounded him, his 16 eyes staring straight at Junior Master. Junior Master was scared out of her wits. Her face was extremely pale as she stuttered, "Brother Fei, you have already offended Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, and the 3 great forces of the 10,000 Alliance sect. If you offend God's Mountain Gate again." Not waiting for him to finish, Li Yuanba slapped him hard and said loudly, "Don't be so long-winded. Are you going to say or not? Damn it, I've been a bandit for 3 years, and I know 1,008 ways to torture people. If you don't take them out, I'll let you enjoy them one by one. Don't worry, you won't die until you're the last one." Li Yuanba laughed. Her smile was very simple and honest, but no matter how Long Fei looked at it, it seemed to be very sinister. Long Fei's heart sank as well. 3 years of bandit. Did they come 3 years ago? Long Fei's heart tightened. "I've suffered." Junior Master looked at the nearby Xiao Yao president and said, "Xiao Yao president, this is the Xiao Yao Business Alliance. You can't just ignore this, right?" The Xiao Yao president said slightly, "Junior Master, it's my fault for meddling in Xiao Yao Business Alliance's affairs. But what you did just now and what you said are not related to Xiao Yao Business Alliance at all. When you sent out your killers to assassinate Long Fei, you should have considered the consequences." It was good that he didn't say anything. The moment Xiao Yao president's words left his mouth, all the other 8 King Kong-s were enraged. "What did you say? Assassinate the boss? Are you tired of living?" Junior Master's body curled up, as though the 8 people were going to tear his body apart. He trembled uncontrollably and said, I'll give. If he did not take out the volume question of God to extinguish the fire, He was afraid that his life would be lost here. Junior Master took out the volume question of God and said, "Brother Fei, take the volume question of God. You can let me go now." Long Fei looked at Junior Master, his entire body emitting a brilliant light. This was not the golden light of a boss, but rather the golden light of a great treasure. He grinned. "You said that I took your volume question of God. Then have I offended God's mountain gate?" The Junior Master reacted quickly and said, No. This is what I wanted to present to you." Long Fei looked at Li Yuanba. Li Yuanba said naively, "Boss, he gave this to you as a form of filial piety." The heavenly spirit thought quickly and said immediately, "We must have offended the God's mountain gate, and the God's mountain gate will definitely not let us off." "Little ghost," Long Fei said indifferently, "I think so too. Since I have offended all of them, then I might as well offend to the end. Come, take out all of your space ring and your treasures, if you dare to hide then." "Haha," Li Yuanba reacted and said, "Did you hear that? Take them all out." Junior Master wanted to cry. This time, he brought out all his good stuff, just like he did at the auction, but he didn't expect. He had a bitter expression on his face. Finally, everything had been stripped clean by the 8 King Kong. Only his underpants were left. He covered his face with both hands as he ran out. His heart was filled with hatred, but he didn't dare to show it. They were afraid that Long Fei would make him die here if he was displeased. In the hands of the volume question of God, Long Fei did not study it closely. Instead, he swallowed the ancient spiritual treasure from Junior Master's body and leveled up to the 11th layer. At this moment, Long Fei asked, "What are you two doing at the auction?" Li Yuanba looked excited and said, "The auction venue is rich. We are here to snatch the auction." It was as if they were doing something great. Xiao Yao President's forehead was covered in black lines. Those who did not leave the auction house also had dark looks on their faces. Snatching for the auction? He could really think of something like this. Wasn't this way too crazy? Long Fei was also shocked and muttered, "You guys are truly fierce, but my original idea was the same as mine. I also wanted to snatch an auction." The Sky Spirit thought that Long Fei would scold them, but did not expect that Long Fei also wanted to snatch the auction, causing the 9 of them to immediately laugh out loud. Ha ha! His laughter was extremely impudent, unbridled. The Xiao Yao President felt bitter in his heart as he thought to himself, "Next time, I must be more vigilant. I must have at least 3 Powerhouse S on the Emperor list to stand guard. Otherwise, no one had ever wanted to snatch an auction, and no one had ever wanted to snatch the Xiao Yao Business Alliance's auction house." This was the actions of a madman. The 8 people of 8 King Kong had never done this in the past 3 years. Long Fei asked, "What are you guys trying to do at this auction?" Li Yuanba said, "If we steal a great treasure and sell it, we would be rich. With money, we can go anywhere in the Chaos Realm to find you. We waited for you for 3 years." The Heaven Spirit glanced at Li Yuanba. Li Yuanba scratched his head. "Sky Spirit, did you peek at the girl when she peed her pants? Why are your eyes always twitching?" Table of contents. The faces of the remaining 6 darkened. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, gritted his teeth, and said, "Sorry. When 8 King Kong was killed by Gu Tong Tian, he was not present. They waited 3 years. In order to find him and risk it to snatch the auction, Long Fei's heart really didn't feel good. The 8 of them were stunned. Then the Black Knife immediately said, "Our lives are given to us by you, and our strength was given to us by you. Everything we do was what we should have done." And at this moment, the 8 of them exchanged glances. The man said softly, "Boss, your father is still alive." Chapter 1263, 2 SSS Level Tasks. Chapter 1263, 2 SSS Level Tasks. Long Zhanting signed a contract with the Death God. No one would be able to survive a situation like this where a soul was sold to a god of death. However, they knew better than Long Fei that the 8 King Kong was a person who came back to life from hell. These words from the Sky Spirit. It caused Long Fei to shake violently. "My father." The man replied, "He's still alive. We don't know where or where he is. We only know that he's still alive. In addition, the heavenly spirit suppressed his voice even lower and said, he wants us to pass on a message to you, to let you repair the goddess Tyr. They will guide you. Goddess Tyr, heart of Phoenix. The goddess Tyr had been exposed by Long Fei from a snow region secret world. She had saved Long Fei a few times in a row. Other than himself, no one else knew about it. How could Father know? The heart of Phoenix was something left behind by Jojo after he went through nirvanic rebirth. So how could it be restored and activated? Long Fei was completely confused. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the hidden quest Repair Goddess Tier. Task level. SSS level time of mission. 10 years task reward. 100 million. Holy source value 1 million. Points 100,000. Gang level increase level 3. Special items. Level 10. Berserk once. F*CK. Long Fei's heart was about to jump out. His entire body was in a bad state. The guild will raise it by 3 levels, as well as the special items and 3 items. These are all very average, but 1 level 10 Berserk. This level 10 Berserk requires billions of energy values. What can this kind of Berserk be used for? Long Fei was very clear that it would take at least a few years before he could reach level 10 Berserk. Moreover, his intuition told him that a level 10 Berserk might burst out with a main artifact. If that was the case, Gudong. Long Fei swallowed his saliva heavily and said excitedly, "Except, I have to accept. Level 10 Berserk, if there's one more main artifact, F*CK. Who else is in Chaos Realm? It's not impossible for Lousy to attack main temple." Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for triggering the hidden quest, Repair Heart of Phoenix. Task level. SSS level time of mission. 10 years task reward. 100 million points. 1 million holy source points. 100,000 points. Individual level increase level 1. 3 special items. 1 type of permanent possession. Heaven overturning Berserk. The world is turning upside down for once. Long Fei was extremely afraid. Level 10 Berserk is the strongest Berserk. What is the sky turning and earth turning Berserk? Could it be that he has surpassed LV10 Berserk? You really want me to go against the heavens? The world was turned upside down. S-Heart could not bear the 2 SSS level missions triggered consecutively. Happiness came too suddenly. The Dragon Coffin is a main artifact. Level 10 Berserk, drop a main artifact. The world is turned upside down, and the sky is turned upside down. Seeing that the name also dropped 2 main artifact S. If that's the case, then what the hell? One on my left hand, right hand, another one, I'm wearing one, and there's another one hanging around my waist. How powerful is Lousy? This was a very luxurious set. Possessing such power, a mere Chaos Realm was able to defeat him within minutes. Seeing how excited Long Fei was, Li Yuanba asked naively, "Boss, what are goddess tier and what kind of things are they? How do we fix them?" Long Fei returned to his senses and took a look at the 2 missions, but he did not see any hint of a quest, and said, "We'll know in the future. As long as a certain trigger condition was met, the quest clues would be triggered." This was also because the SSS level mission was a little special. At this time, Long Fei changed the topic and asked, "What did you guys say about seizing the auction?" Li Yuanba laughed excitedly and said, "We've snatched the most awesome thing, 100 years old life essence, worth 10 million. We're rich, haha." The man said, "Find a boss now, and I'll give this pill to you." "No way." As soon as he finished, Kunlun Zi immediately stood up. He did not care about anything else, but he absolutely could not let go of this life essence. Li Yuanba's gaze turned, and he immediately shouted out, "Who are you? If you say no, then no. As long as we say yes." Unconvinced, "If you can't accept it, then come down and fight." Kunlun Zi's face sank and shouted lightly, "Do you really think you're that powerful?" And then, Kunlun Zi looked at Xiao Yao President and said, "Xiao Yao President, you don't need to care about this matter. If you don't want to, then I can only do it myself. Just do it. Do I have to be afraid of you?" Li Yuanba instantly refuted back. Raising his sleeves, his great axe moved, and his battle intent immediately ignited. He was extremely arrogant. Xiaoyao president looked at Long Fei. Long Fei thought for a moment, then said, "Return the pill to Xiaoyao Business Alliance." In addition, Long Fei took out the black card with the 6 million Xian crystal and said, "My brother isn't sensible. The person who hurt you destroyed quite a few things. The money belonged to the Xiaoyao president. Long Fei just wanted to return it to her. Moreover, Li Yuanba and the other 3 were at fault, but were indifferent to others. But toward Xiaoyao president, it was different. The life essence and the black card were returned to the Xiaoyao president together. Xiaoyao president was stunned for a moment. He took the item and said, "On the account of money, let's just forget about the matter of them stealing the auction. You're not allowed to have a next time, or else you won't be forgiven so easily." Naturally, he had to say a few words. However, Li Yuanba did not hear it and shouted, "Next time, I will come again to snatch all of your Xiaoyao Business Alliances away." At this moment, Long Fei slightly said, "Thank you, Xiaoyao president. Yuanba, help the 3 of them up. Niu Dashan, Yang Yu, and Yang Wanu. As for Chu Chongkong and Master Songlong, they should be fine with the help of the people from Xiaoyao Business Alliance." The 3 King Kong walked forward and helped Niu Dashan and the other 2 up. Long Fei said, "Can we leave?" Xiaoyao president replied, "Sure." Long Fei had not even taken a single step when a middle-aged man walked out from the darkness and asked coldly, "Leave? Long Fei, where can you go? Do you think you can still walk across the Lianyu Castle? Lianyu Castle is the place where you die." At this moment, a disciple of the Xiaoyao Business Alliance hurriedly ran in and whispered a few words into the ears of the Xiaoyao president. Xiaoyao president's expression suddenly changed. Gazing at the man who walked out from the darkness, he said solemnly, "You've brought all the Black Flag Army from hell with you?" The corner of the man's mouth curled up as he smiled sinisterly. "I am only following young Master Wu Shuang's orders." It was also at this time. The man's face was in the light. Xiaoyao president's eyes darkened. Powerhouse of the son of God ranking. Chapter 1264. Fighting Holy Buddha's Inherent Demon Power. Chapter 1264. Fighting Holy Buddha's Inherent Demon Power. Heavens, humans, and the 3 great imperial rankings. It represented 3 realms. There were only 100 people in each of these 3 realms. The sky is the strongest, the son of God ranking are second, and the emperor list are the weakest. 1 rank, 1 realm. An emperor board was an even larger realm. The moment the man walked out, Xiaoyao president's face darkened because he knew this person. He had seen the number 1 assassin in Hellgate before, who was ranked 3rd on the Son of God ranking S list, the superpower house. Absolutely. While God's expression changed, it was the same with Goddess Goldflower. The 2 of them had no chance to stop and immediately stood up. "We are here to see a show." He turned around and left as if he had seen a ghost. He was even trembling a little as he walked. Was this the powerhouse of the emperor list? They were too scared. Zhu was famous for being ruthless and merciless. None of the people he challenged could survive. If they provoked him, it would be equivalent to provoking a death god. Kunlun Zi was also hesitating, but in the end he still stayed. Also at this time, the Xiaoyao president immediately sent a sound transmission to Long Fei. "I'll think of a way to delay him. You should leave first. Remember, you must leave the Lianyu Castle as soon as possible. We definitely can't keep fighting. Right now, all the people outside are warrior-s of the infernal realm." After Xiaoyao president finished speaking, he walked forward with a faint smile. It was absolutely terrifying. Xiaoyao president was not sure if he could stop him, but Long Fei had already obtained the volume question of God, so no matter what, he had to give it a try. Finally, Xiaoyao president said, "Remember what I said? You must participate in the Tower Question of God examination. This is your only chance to get rid of the 3 great forces." It was just that. Long Fei acted as if he did not hear his words. Because Long Fei's eyes lit up, staring straight at him. He could not move. Like I said, how could there only be 3 little bosses following the development of the story? No reason. Aoya's voice became cold. She said slightly, "Be careful, this man is very strong." Her sword spirit aura was automatically repelled, and she was unable to approach Ju. Ju stared at Long Fei and said indifferently, "Are you the one who killed yourself? I'll have to do it myself. If I do it, you'll probably die a painful death." Very arrogant. Li Yuanba was not in a good mood. He rushed out and shouted, "You dare to be arrogant with my boss? Who do you think you are?" He did not care about the Emperor list, the powerhouse of the Son of God ranking. Anyone who dared to mock Long Fei or threaten him would definitely be done in. However, Li Yuanba was still not done approaching Juju, but a powerful aura of death burst forth from his body, and with a flick of his finger, he shouted, "Sword finger!" Whoosh! A beam of sword energy pierced straight through. Chen Tianfei's eyes darkened, and he shouted loudly, "Yuanba, watch out!" Buzz! A surge of defensive power was released. Crack! In less than a second, Chen Tianfei's defensive power directly shattered into pieces. The defensive power was completely different from the offensive power. Giant Spirit God Slash. 3 heads and 6 arms. The 3 giant spirit axes slashed down at the same time. Boom! The impact caused a huge explosion. Rumble! Li Yuanba was immediately sent flying by the power of the sword fingers and struck onto the roof beams. The roof beams shattered and his huge body immediately flew out after a few seconds. Boom! It smashed heavily on the outside of the auction house. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. With just one move, he had directly struck Slay. This was the powerhouse on the Son of God ranking, the super powerhouse. The Sky Spirit roared angrily. "Injured big man, I will kill you. Be careful." Long Fei shouted, wanting to stop her, but it was already too late. Long Fei could only follow and rush out. Ghost Vein Abyss. The power of 10,000 dead bodies. The Sky Spirit made a grasping motion with both hands and fiercely charged at Ju. Power flames burned on the claws, withering wherever the flames touched. Even the air was shrinking rapidly as they disappeared. As long as a tiny bit of this energy stuck onto his body would wither. However, Ju smirked coldly. "You overestimate yourself." His fingers moved again. Buzz! The sword chi sank and burst out. Boom! Before the figure of the Sky Spirit even landed, its body was nailed to the ground by an extremely powerful force. The body flew backward and directly broke through the roof before falling outside. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. Long Fei wanted to capture him, but too slow. His strength couldn't keep up at all. Heavenly Spirit. Heavenly Spirit. His Heavenly Spirit was the youngest among the 8 of them, and it was like he was his own little brother. Seeing him sent flying, the remaining 6 people all rushed up to him. He was completely enraged. Long Fei shouted loudly, "Don't go up, don't go up." There was no way to stop it. He looked like he was about to go insane from the anxiety. For 3 years, the 8 of them had been closer than brothers. One person was injured, while the others were enraged. At this time, even if they listened to Long Fei's orders, they would still rush up to him. They were in too much of a hurry, too anxious. It was also because the 2 of them, Sky Spirit and Li Yuanba, were sent flying that they did not think too much about it. Boom! 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 Figures flew out one after another. The roof of the auction house was penetrated, leaving behind many large holes. In the end, the entire roof collapsed. The 6 of them were all sent flying. He couldn't even touch the corner of Ju's clothes. Too strong, too strong. Long Fei roared in hysteria. No, no. His reason was gone. Xiao Yao President shouted, "Long Fei, run." "Flee." Ju laughed coldly. "Can he run away? Such an ant-like person. How dare a trash like you go against young Master Wushuang? You dare to fight over a woman with him? Something that doesn't know its place." He spoke coldly. 3 great rings, activate. Paralyzed ring, open. Body protection ring, activate. Resurrection ring, open. In that moment, Long Fei was enraged beyond compare as he rushed forward explosively. However, his own strength was not even comparable to Li Yuanba's. When he rushed to a distance 5 meters away, he was blocked by a powerful aura. Zhu laughed coldly. Ha ha! A trash in the spirit-level realm can't even get close to me. What are you going to use to kill me? Power awakening? I want to see what kind of power you have awakened. Complete annihilation. Even if Long Fei wanted to, he couldn't get closer to her. Unreconciled, he felt extremely unhappy. Fury surged into his mind and turned into a sea of flames. At this moment, Long Fei's eyes had already turned red. Red flames started to burn on his body as if his blood was burning. An incomparably terrifying aura was emanating from his body. He lost his mind. Ding! Activate the possession of Battle Holy Buddha Devil. The system suddenly sounded out. Long Fei did not hesitate at all and shouted loudly, Activate! Chapter 1265, Sweeping the Wind. Chapter 1265, Sweeping the Wind, Automatic Activation. The demon chi in Long Fei's heart automatically activated the energy within the golden cudgel. This time too, he didn't receive any of Long Fei's orders. As if he knew Long Fei needed energy, he naturally activated it. Last time was when the Sun Wukong's power possessed him. This time, it was even more abnormal. He was directly fighting against a Holy Buddha in Holy Buddha mode, and he was a devil fighting a god. Activate! With that, the energy of the 11th floor of the golden cudgel was drained and disappeared. In exchange for a prompt. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for activating Battle God's Axe Demon's possession power. You have gained 5 seconds. 5 seconds? 2 layers of energy in exchange for 3 seconds. The energy of 11 levels could only be exchanged for 5 seconds. It had to be said that time was too short. At this moment, Long Fei did not care about the length of time. He only cared about one thing. Whoever touched his brother would die. Boom, 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 boom. With a flip of his right hand, he held the golden cudgel in his hand. His 2 eyes were filled with a blood-red flame, and his entire body was emitting an unyielding, arrogant aura, as if he would fall down in front of the other. Zhu's expression changed slightly. Hoo. The golden cudgel turned and swept, suddenly becoming a long finger on Zhu's face, and said, Those who touch my brother die. Before he could finish, the golden cudgel was lifted high up in the sky, soaring into the clouds. One could not even see how long it was. Absolute forehead, dripping with cold sweat, coldly stared at Long Fei and said, You, who are you? The power in your body, the power in your body. His voice was trembling. The aura from Long Fei's body completely suppressed him. This kind of feeling was extremely uncomfortable, extremely unbearable. Moreover, his body could not move at all and was tightly gripped by the Holy Buddha Devil's strength emitted from Long Fei's body. He was now like a fish on the chopping block. They were only waiting for Long Fei's blade to slash down. Xiao Yao President's expression was also incomparably shocked. His strength is far greater than the one he used to kill Master of Martial Prowess Mansion. What kind of power is this? Is this the power that was awakened in his body? It's very different from what his father said. What kind of power is this? He didn't understand. Kunlun Zi was even more confused. His legs were trembling and facing such a powerful force. He was unable to take it any longer. Rumble! There was a loud bang from above the 9th heaven. The golden cudgel cut across the sky. The Samisen true fire burned up and slashed down heavily. No. It was trembling, screaming, wailing, and his entire body was in incomparable pain. Looking up at the huge golden cudgel in the sky, his scalp was sinking. Boom! His hair was disheveled. High above, at this moment, the super powerhouse of the Son of God ranking had become incomparably miserable. Crack! Bam! Unable to endure it any longer, he kneeled in front of Long Fei and begged, Junior Master, spare my life. I will never. I am willing to be a slave for all my life, and never betray me, and let me go once. You're talking about being a slave for all eternity. Kneel down and beg for mercy now. Why didn't you think of it when you touched my brother? Spare you. Are you dreaming? Long Fei's anger did not decrease at all. The life and death of the 8 King Kong was uncertain, and he would definitely not die. Long Fei did not know how to vent the hatred in his heart. He shouted, "Junior Master, kill me. 9 Secret Warrior family will send more and more powerhouse to chase you down. They will definitely not let you live in this world. Only if you let me go can you." Long Fei shouted. "Only then can you, sister. 9 Secret Warrior family? Hellgate. Zhan Wushuang. I will F*** King flip whoever over." Long Fei roared out, "Die." No matter who he was, even if the gods messed with him, he would still die. With a swing of the staff, it directly exploded above Ju's head, and the Samisen true fire that was burning atop the golden cudgel immediately exploded outwards, forming an incomparably long flame attack. Absolutely, instantly killed. His entire body had been turned into smithereens. Facing the power of the demon, he was nothing, not even an ant, an existence that could kill in an instant. At this moment, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Ju for obtaining 60 million experience, 60,000 holy source points, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 9 Helvadrachi. Do you wish to cultivate it? Congratulations to the player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spiritual treasure, Primordius Air Armor. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spiritual treasure, Berserker Sword Blood Moon. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system beep frantically sounded. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Powerhouse of the Son of God ranking for obtaining a special reward. The reward is 1 absolute call card piece. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, level 8 spirit rank. Long Fei was excited. Absolute call card is Hua Ying Xiao Absolute. Instantly, Long Fei opened the system to take a look. The pattern on the card was none other than Hua Xiao Xiao. Item, call card S, can be permanently summoned after leveling up. Character, absolute attack, 8 stars speed, 9 stars description. After leveling up, this card can be permanently summoned. The leveling conditions require the loyalty stone to fuse. A series of card attributes appeared on the system. These attributes looked ordinary, but the most important thing was the permanent summoning, which could be used permanently once it merged with the loyalty stone. Loyalty stone, something that simply did not exist in this world. However, Long Fei had seen it before in the Points Exchange Center. However, it required 180 million points to exchange for one. This was secondary. Since the reward is absolute, then the other members of the organization can also reward it. Since it can be summoned permanently, so can the other members. If that's the case, Long Fei's heart trembled, and he said faintly, "Then not only must I transfer the members of the God's martial sect to the Chaos Realm, I must also summon the various movies, anime, and myths about the powerhouse that belong to me." If it was a permanent summon, Long Fei's plan would not be a problem. Moreover, in Chaos Realm, power was very important. It was too hard to be alone. In the few months' time inside Chaos Realm, Long Fei deeply understood this point, as he couldn't afford to offend any kind of force. The best way was to establish their own power. If he wanted to compete for power in the Chaos Realm, he must have his own power. Since that was the case, if the gods' martial sex dragon race were to teleport over, then the super powerful beings who received the prizes from the system must be brought out as well. What he wanted was to crush them. Crush everything. Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, Myriad Alliance, 9 Secret Warrior family. Compete in power? Then let's see who I can beat. Chapter 1266, Black Flag Army of Hell. Chapter 1266, Black Flag Army of Hell. All of this happened in an instant. The moment Long Fei's staff struck down, the 3 true fires burned crazily. In a split second, the entire auction place was smashed to smithereens, and in that moment, all three true fires were burned to dust as well. It was also at this moment he could see everything outside the auction house. Countless Hell Gates. It surrounded the entire auction house. 8 King Kong was also tightly encircled. All of them had pale faces, with blood at the corner of their mouth. The move that they had used just now had directly, severely injured them. Not dead. It's good that he didn't die. It's good that he didn't die. Long Fei's heart was slightly at ease. Xiao Yao President's brows furrowed as he said anxiously, Long Fei, quickly leave. These people are the Black Flag Army of Hell. They are an undying existence, the strongest army in the Hell Gate, and also the cruelest army. Let's go. Xiao Yao President was very worried. The stronger Long Fei became, the more worried he became. Because no matter how strong he would not be a match for the Hell Gate. The stronger Long Fei was, the better hope he had of entering the Tower Question of God. These superpowers did not dare to touch Tower Question of God at all. Leave. Humph. If the Black Flag Army of the Infernal Realm wants to kill someone, no one can escape. Long Fei, your brothers are all in our hands, and you are the one kneeling in front of me to die? Or do you want to see your brother die in front of you? One of the Wolf Kings riding on horseback said with a cold smile, his entire body covered in black flames. Boss, don't worry about us. Boss, leave quickly. Boss, let's go. The 8 people shouted. The aura emitted from the bodies of these Hell Black Flag Army S were too strange. The Black Flag Army S of the Infernal Realm were all infused with immortal souls. This was a secret technique that was unique to the Hell Gate, as it could travel unhindered through the Chaos Realm for thousands of years. No one could break it. It was also because the 8 of them had sensed the power of the Black Flag Army that they had known of the danger, which was why they allowed Long Fei to leave. Xiao Yao President also followed. Long Fei, stop hesitating. Let's run. These 8 people, right now, they're no different from dead. Hurry up and run. If you don't leave now, it'll be too late. Xiao Yao President was very worried. However, he did not understand Long Fei. He didn't understand at all. What kind of person was Long Fei? He would rather die than allow his brother to die. They were willing to endure all of the pain, but they didn't want to see even the slightest bit of pain from their brothers. Very arrogant? Cruel? So what? Long Fei was stronger, crazier, and more cruel than these people, kneeling in front of you to die. Uh-huh. The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up, and he shouted in a deep voice, I want you to kneel in front of me and sing a song of conquest. Time. 2.5 seconds. All right, I will do as I please for 2.5 seconds. As soon as his voice faded, Long Fei's body was completely released. The blood light and flames on his body frantically ignited, and streams of blood that could be seen with the naked eye burst out one after another. The golden cudgel in his hand trembled. Buzz! Boom! A ray of light shot out from the ground, enveloping the entire Lianyu castle. In that instant, the Black Knights were stunned. At this moment, the fighting strength of the Holy Buddha demon was completely unleashed. He didn't hold back at all. Crazy. Then let's do it to the extreme. Crush them all. Long Fei's idea moved, and the strength of the fighting Holy Buddha demon was unleashed. The 2 Samisen, true fire in her hands, burned crazily. With a swing of a staff. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The ground cracked and caved in. The surrounding buildings instantly turned into rubble. The areas that the golden cudgel went to were in a mess, and those black cavalry soldiers were instantly stomped on the ground. The leader loudly sneered, Trash, don't you know that we are the Undying Legion? Black Flag Army walked out of hell. You were also a junior master in the past. You should be clear about this point. Kill us. Even if Hades comes, it will be useless, because we have the immortal body. Very arrogant. Quite crazy. It was because no matter how much he killed, he wouldn't be killed. However, Long Fei's face revealed a cold smile and said, Immortal? Do you see if they're dead now? Not die. You're going to die soon. What's Hades to you? Even he was killed by me. I'm even more brutal than the King of Hell. Long Fei raised his hand, and the golden cudgel began to attack. The leader turned to look at the place where Long Fei was attacking. The Black Flag Army who had been touched by the Samisen true fire all roared. Their bodies ignited like toilet paper. Under the flames, they instantly turned into ashes and powder. Not die. They were like a bunch of chickens and dogs. Instant kill. It was also at this time. The golden cudgel in Long Fei's hands struck down again, and the Samisen true fire dispersed into the sky. Rumble. The leader's eyes darkened. He wanted to dodge, but Long Fei made her move ahead of him, instantly appearing in front of him and smashed down with the staff. Not die. Immortal body. In front of Lousy, you're not even worth shit. Long Fei roared out, the thick devil flames crazily crushing down. He stepped on the leader's head. Crack! Without waiting for the commander to let out any screams, he directly stomped on the ground and exploded. Any undead creatures were all trash in front of the Samisen true fire. Boom! Boom! Long Fei started attacking without restraint. Black Flag Army from 3 different directions came crashing over, and one of the 4 leaders of Black Flag Army died. The surrounding Black Flag Army did not retreat. This was also the reason why they were so strong. Let's see how unafraid you all are of death. Boom! Boom! The golden cudgel in Long Fei's hands swept one large area after another. They were completely invincible existences, and also saved 8 King Kong. But at this time, Black Flag Army from 3 different directions arrived. It was also at this time. The 2.5 seconds ended. This also meant that Long Fei's time to be invincible was over. Ding! System notification. Battle of the Holy Buddha's possession time is over. 5 seconds. A true man was invincible. However, after all, he had a time limit of 5 seconds. Long Fei retracted the aura on his body and fiercely lowered his body. After the powerful energy disappeared, his body seemed to have been instantly sucked dry, feeling incomparable pain. This was especially so for his mental attacks, which made him feel even more uncomfortable. It was also at this time. The other 3 legions of the Black Flag Army rushed over. The reason they came late was because all the people in the entire Lianyu Castle had been killed by them. The 3 legion commanders stared at Long Fei, their eyes filled with killing intent and disdain. Long Fei, you should feel honored to die under Black Flag Army's hands. The fat man Chen panted heavily. Boss, what do we do? Long Fei said solemnly. One word, die. Chapter 1267. Chapter 1267, the people of Long family would never retreat. Although he was in a different plane of existence, the blood that flowed in Long Fei's bones was still that of the Long family. So what if he lost his powerful strength? So what if he faced a powerful enemy? In this life, one must live more brilliantly. Brother is by my side. The woman was by his side. In his previous life, Long Fei's wish had been fulfilled. He wanted to go berserk with his life on the line. Moreover, without the power of the Holy Buddha demon, couldn't he crush the Black Flag Army? Moreover, these Black Flag Army-s all had the experience of elite monsters. Just 2.5 seconds ago, Long Fei had obtained more than 8 million experience points. It was too fast. With all these combined, it was even more so when he needed to do everything. Li Yuanba became excited, clenching his fist tightly. That feeling is back. While they were talking, Li Yuanba looked at the other King Kong. This feeling was very familiar, as if they had returned to the gods' martial continent and fought side by side with Long Fei. Everyone's blood boiled. He wouldn't be afraid even if he died. Li Yuanba let out a loud roar, placed the giant spirit axe on top of his shoulder, swept his eyes, and said, "So what if you're a Black Flag Army of hell? Let's do it." As soon as he finished, Li Yuanba was the first to rush out. The heavenly spirit was followed by the fat men Shun. Black Knife, Descending Dragon, Arhut, Lin Yuxing also rushed out. Aoya looked at Long Fei and gave a light smile. Her ice-cold face revealed a smile. She was smiling so happily, so blissfully. For her, There was nothing in this world more blissful than seeing Long Fei again. Thus, at this moment, even if she died, she would not even bat an eyelid. King Kong rushed out. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly. With the Xiao Luo machete in his hands, he rushed forward the moment they rushed out. He shouted, "Kill!" One of the leaders of the Black Flag Army laughed coldly. "You overestimate yourself. You're courting death. Kill them all." The order was given. Black Flag Army surged forward like a tide, and in practically an instant, he engulfed all 9 of Long Fei's group. Split all 9 of them up. He slaughtered with all his might. However, it was as if their power was useless. They had clearly already killed them, but these Black Flag Army had instantly crawled up from the ground and didn't die at all. However, the 9 of them had no fear at all. They were able to fight together with an excited smile on their faces. Within the auction house, Xiao Yao president said, "Kunlun Zi, you want the life essence?" Kunlun Zi regained his senses, looked at Xiao Yao president, and frowned slightly. He said, "Xiao Yao president, it can't be that you want me to become his slave, right?" He looked at Xiang Longfei. Longfei had already fallen into a death trap. Even if a great firmament deity came, it wouldn't be able to save them. No doubt about it. Moreover, there were too many Black Flag Army. Even if it was the 2 of them weren't his match, not to mention the fact that these Black Flag Army possessed the immortal body. How could he be an opponent? Without waiting for Xiao Yao president to speak, Kunlun Zi slightly said, "Even if I were to take action, I wouldn't be able to save them." Xiao Yao president said, "How would we know if we don't try? In addition, with just the 2 of us here, I'm not afraid to tell you that the life essence was created by him, and the God Disappear powder was also created by him." Xiao Yao president did not hide from him. Kunlun Zi's eyes suddenly darkened. His gaze once again looked at Long Fei, who was in the crowd. The Xiao Yao president said slightly, "If this kind of person can live on, how many people would want to become his servants? How many emperor lists that are reaching the end of their lifespan are trying to curry favor with him? How many of the top powerhouse on the Heavenly Emperor list want to curry favor with him? Being his servant is an honor, and I believe that he will definitely enter the tower question of God." Xiao Yao president said with complete conviction. He had seen too many impossibilities from Long Fei. Xiao Yao president slightly said, "Kunlun Zi, are you still hesitating?" Kunlun Zi sank into deep thought. He was betting his life. They would either follow Long Fei and rise to greatness, or they would be chased and killed by the Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, and 10,000 Alliance sect, and even more forces, and hide away for the rest of their lives. Even, he would die under the Black Flag Army right now. How to choose? Kunlun Zi couldn't hold in for a while, and seeing that more and more Black Flag Army-s were pouring out, he shook his head and sighed, saying, "There are too many Black Flag Army-s. I'm also powerless." The Xiao Yao president did not give up and said, "As long as you use your sacred art, you can bring them out." Kunlun Zi's eyes shook as he said, "I have thought about it too, but there are a lot of people in the Black Flag Army. Even if we succeed, we won't be able to escape too far." In the end, he was still hunted down. "It's useless." Kunlun Zi smiled bitterly. "I want to help him too, but I'm really powerless." No one would interfere with something that they knew would result in death. "What if there are fewer people in Black Flag Army?" The Xiao Yao president said lightly. Kunlun Zi looked at Xiao Yao president, exhaled deeply, and said, "If the number of Black Flag Army-s decrease, I can give it a try. However, Xiao Yao president, you should know about Black Flag Army's immortal body. Their numbers shouldn't decrease." The Xiao Yao president smiled lightly and said, "There is no such thing as an undead body in this world. It's just that we did not discover their weakness." In that instant, Xiao Yao president walked out. Buzz! An ear-piercing sword hum resounded from deep underground. Aoya's face darkened. Beside her, the sword spirits were also trembling rapidly. What powerful sword intent! Long Fei also felt it. He turned around to take a look. Long Fei was startled. Xiao Yao president. In that instant, Xiao Yao president's figure moved like an illusion. His hands reached toward the ground. Wong Wong. A red and a purple-colored longsword flew out from his hands, and in the next moment, his silhouette danced crazily in the air, with half of the sky filled with his figure. It was like a powerful move that was like a hurricane. His figure was dancing wildly. The sword intent was arrogant. One red, one purple, it covered half the sky. At the same time, Xiao Yao president sent a sound transmission to Long Fei, saying, "Long Fei, bring your people and quickly retreat to the auction venue to look for Kunlunzi. Remember, I must pass the tower question of God's test. I must enter the tower question of God. I don't know if your power has awakened or not, but your father once told me before your death that there is something he left for you in the tower question of God, something that can activate the power in your body. Remember, you must survive no matter what." As soon as he finished, Xiao Yao president suddenly roared, Come with me. Let me experience the power of your immortal body." As the sound of his voice faded, the sword intent released by the Xiao Yao president instantly smashed down. Chapter 1268 Vengeance Through the Night. Chapter 1268 Vengeance Through the Night. Boom. Boom, boom. Long Fei and the 9-8 King Kong S were repelled by a powerful force in that instant. Kunlunzi shouted out loud and said, "Long Fei, hurry up." 8 King Kong's entire body was wounded, and he was extremely weak. They were severely injured. They were also fighting bitterly with the Black Flag Army, and they were fighting with their lives on the line. Now that they felt relieved, there was no way they could fight anymore. "Let's go." Xiao Yao president's figure landed heavily, the sword intent engulfing the entire Black Flag Army. Kunlunzi roared, There's no time. Long Fei, do you want to live? Do you want the death of Xiao Yao president to have some value? If you want to, then come with me right now. Time was just for an instant. If he didn't grab hold of them, he wouldn't be able to escape. 8 King Kong looked at Long Fei. At this moment, Kunlunzi had already thrown Yo Dashin, Yang Yu, Yang Wanu, and the Azure Dragon into a cloth bag. He looked at Long Fei and asked, "Long Fei, what are you still hesitating about?" Long Fei roared angrily, "Let's go." Kunlunzi's heart relaxed. At the same time, he sent a sound transmission to the Xiao Yao president. "You can begin." "All right." Xiao Yao president laughed out wildly and said loudly, "Long Fei, don't disappoint me no matter what." Then, with a roar, the red and purple swords started to spin. The sword intent that had just descended formed a hurricane and swept all the black banners into the air. At this moment, Kunlunzi kept his cosmos sack, turned invisible, and rushed out at full speed. If the Black Flag Army was too crowded, his stealth technique would be completely useless. Right now, the Black Flag Army was flying in the air, and there was no one on the ground other than the Xiao Yao president. Kunlunzi glanced at Xiao Yao president, and his heart sank a little. Full speed. Kunlunzi's greatest speed was his speed. Under the effect of stealth, without any object blocking him, his speed was like lightning, and in half a minute, he was already deep in the mountains. It was also at this time, a loud noise came out from the Lianyu castle. Rumble. Half of the Lianyu castle had collapsed, and the buildings in the city had become ruins. What had happened? No one knew. Was the Xiao Yao president alive or dead? No one knew. Huff! Kunlunzi gasped for breath, wiped off the sweat on his forehead, and muttered, "Using the sacred art consumes too much of my profound chi. Profound chi is longevity. If this time," he thought for a moment. Kunlunzi laughed bitterly and muttered, "I chose my own path, so even if it's a piece of *T, I have to swallow it down." At this time, Kunlunzi opened his cosmos sack and let Long Fei and the others out. This cosmic bag was an ancient spiritual treasure that could store living things. Long Fei walked out and looked at the Lianyu castle that was in ruins. He clenched his fists tightly and said solemnly, "Uncle Xiao Yao." Kunlunzi looked at Long Fei's face full of anger and said, "You won't go back, right?" Long Fei did not speak. 8 King Kong walked out one after another. They lied on the ground and panted heavily, every single one of them on the verge of death. At this time, it was impossible for Long Fei to leave even if he wanted to. And then, Long Fei moved his body and summoned the Fire Unicorn. The idea said, "Fire Unicorn, watch those Black Flag Army-s." The Fire Unicorn turned into a ball of fire and disappeared into the sky. And then, Long Fei took out a few medicinal pellets and gave it to 8 King Kong and Yang Yu's group of 5. Swallow the pill. Their injuries had stabilized. These pills were all exchanged by Long Fei. They were all of the highest quality, and the healing effect was extremely sharp. Kunlun Zi's heart trembled once again, and thought to himself, could it be that Xiao Yao president didn't lie to me? The life essence and the God Disappear powder were really refined by the kid in front of us. But how is that possible? To be able to refine such a powerful pill at the age of 20? Even a peerless genius of the alchemy would never be able to do such a thing. There had never been one in the history of the Chaos Realm before. Kunlun Zi asked, "What are your plans?" Long Fei said 2 simple words, "Revenge." Kunlun Zi's expression shook and said, "Long Fei, don't act recklessly. You should know how strong the Black Flag Army Group is now. How about this? Follow me back to the Kunlun sect, where can you rest for a while?" The news of today's events would soon reach Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, and the World Alliance sect. They definitely would not rest for a long time. Revenge at this time? It was almost the same as courting death. Moreover, he could tell that the power in Long Fei's body was very unstable, sometimes strong, sometimes weak. Of course, this was the power of the system, and he naturally could not understand it. Long Fei pondered. Kunlun Zi immediately said, "Then it's decided. You will follow my Kunlun sect. My place is a little more remote, and no one knows that you follow me there either." Kunlun Zi's personality also went down the line. Since he had made his choice, he would continue to persevere. He chose to save Long Fei, and he would also continue to help her. Moreover, he promised to exhaust the guild leader. His current identity should be that of Long Fei's servant. It was just that he was a little embarrassed and didn't say anything. Long Fei did not speak. The scene of the Xiao Yao president charging into the Black Flag Army still kept appearing in his mind. That feeling, Long Fei felt really bad. This feeling was even worse than the last time he was crushed by Zhan Wushuang in the Yuanyang clan. Even the super powerhouse on the Emperor list could not block it. I'm afraid that Xiao Yao president is already dead. Thinking of this, Long Fei's heart trembled, his fists clenched, joints popping out. He had to avenge this enmity. If he didn't take revenge, he wouldn't be a human. The anger in Long Fei's heart grew even stronger. At the same time, in his mind, he was constantly thinking about the Black Flag Army Group's so-called immortal body. There is no such thing as absolute immortality, and even if you were a god, you would still die. Thus, the immortal body must have a weakness. It was just that no one had discovered it yet. What is this place? Must the Samisen True Fire's power be used to destroy it? Samisen True Fire. Long Fei could release it, but it was too weak, and the consumption rate of the S by the Golden Cudgel was too fast. The reason the Samisen True Fire could instantly kill those Black Flag Army S was not because of its unique attribute, but because it was powerful enough that it could absolutely crush them, not giving them the time to revive. Long Fei leaned on the tree and thought and waited. In the middle of the night, a ball of fire fell, and the Fire Unicorn returned, saying, "Master, we found the Black Flag Army's encampment." As soon as he finished, Long Fei's face shook as he jumped and sat on the back of the Fire Unicorn. "Long Fei, you can't go." Kunlun Zi blocked him instantly. Long Fei said, "There are some things that I must do. Take them and leave first. I'll catch up to you guys before dawn." Finished, the flame flashed and disappeared into the horizon. Chapter 1269. Yuan Yang Big Beast Come Out to Enjoy? Chapter 1269. Yuan Yang Big Beast Come Out to Enjoy? It wouldn't be too late for a gentleman to exact vengeance in 10 years. Long Fei had nothing to do with revenge. Master, there are so many people in the Black Flag Army. I am afraid we are not a match for them." The Fire Unicorn said. Hell Black Flag Army. Hellgate's Trump Card Army. The goal of sending 10,000 elites this time was to kill Long Fei. Long Fei had escaped. This was the first time in the history of the Black Flag Army that he had failed. They were extremely unhappy in their hearts. However, they were not good at tracking people. They were good at killing people, not chasing people. Long Fei slightly said, "Wait until you don't need to attack. I alone will be enough." The fire unicorn immediately said, "Master, how can this work? I want to fight alongside you." "Be good." Long Fei's idea sunk and said, "Next time, I won't give you any pills to eat." The fire unicorn immediately became listless and said softly, "Oh." The reason why Long Fei had escaped in Lianyu Castle was not because he was afraid, but because he was safe with Yang Yu and the others. If he did not leave himself, the 8 King Kong would never have left. That way, even if Long Fei had the power to repel the Black Flag Army, the latter would still die. Their bodies wouldn't be able to withstand it by then. At that time, Long Fei had to leave. Similarly, he would not let the fire unicorn take the risk. He still had not found the weakness of the immortal body. He had to grab hold of Black Flag Army to train. Boom! The fire unicorn landed, looked at the balls of dark green flames, and said, "Master, the Black Flag Army group's encampment is right in front of us." Long Fei kept the fire unicorn and returned it to the war pet space. Then he quietly touched it. "Hey, haha, grandson." Long Fei looked at one of the guards and shouted. The 2 guards immediately rushed forward. Long Fei ran frantically. "Brat, you're dead today. How dare you behave atrociously in front of us? You're courting death." The 2 of them chased madly. Suddenly, Long Fei stopped. With the Xiao Luo machete in his hand, he turned around and slashed down with his blade. Crack! If it was a normal person, they would not be able to handle it. Even if it was a person with a higher cultivation than Long Fei, they would still receive critical injuries. However, in front of him only lowered his body slightly, revealing a sinister smile. "You want to kill me? Ha ha! Only trash like you." Not waiting for him to finish. "Awoo!" Long Fei swung his leg up to kick his leg up. With a crack, the sound of eggs cracking could clearly be heard, but Black Flag Army was still in a daze, as if nothing had happened. Moreover, it was strange. When the gashes on the heads of these Black Flag Army-s appeared, it was as if they were about to die. Long Fei had not been able to inflict a single bit of damage on both of his attacks, and both times was in vain. Immortal body. Long Fei frowned. Another Black Flag Army laughed proudly and said, "You only know now? Hee. Too late." A single move. Long Fei continued to look. Even though his arm had been chopped off, it was still completely unharmed. Furthermore, his arm was rapidly growing and was in perfect condition. "Your hand is not good enough. Then your feet." Without waiting for that person to make a move, Long Fei continued to watch. One leg was still cut down, but there was no damage at all. "I'm done for." Long Fei cursed in his heart. "I don't believe this." And then, Long Fei's figure moved like lightning, crazily unleashing power, surrounding the 2 people as he continuously slashed out. Every strike contained power with his hands, feet, eyes, ears, brain, head, and internal organs. Hardly heard of it. However, the result was the same. MIS, 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 or even MIS. However, at this moment, the system sounded out. "Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei, for learning Eviscerate Blade Technique. You have gained 100 experience points, 100 Holy Source points, and 100 special points." Holy *T. You didn't kill him, but you managed to comprehend a set of eviscerating bone saber technique. Your sister. Long Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The 2 Black Flag Army-s were also in pain. They would not die, but they could feel the pain. They were completely oppressed by Long Fei. "Brat, you're dead for sure. You dared provoke the Black Flag Army group. You're dead. You're dead." Long Fei didn't care about him at all. His mind was constantly replaying the place where he had struck earlier, when all of a sudden, the space between his eyebrows sank. All the attacks will enter their bodies, but suddenly, Long Fei's gaze darkened, and he thrusted his blade forward. Boom! It directly pierced into the heart of the Black Flag warrior, causing him to retreat quickly. It was as if the Xiao Luo machete was unable to pierce through their hearts at all, and their hearts were stopped by a thick layer of steel. Is this where their hood door lies? The Xiao Luo machete moved. Shwa! The clothes on their chests were torn apart, revealing a huge, circular scar. Long Fei smashed his palm down and shouted in his heart, "Suck star over China!" The instant he touched his chest, he sucked in a mouthful of air with his palm. Pucci! His chest split open and an amethyst stone was sucked into Long Fei's palm. Long Fei looked at the strange light shining from the amethyst. The warrior with the black flag fell to the ground dead. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei. The system sounded out. Long Fei became excited. This is their secret to not dying. Holding the amethyst in his hand, he looked up and saw that there were many thin lines on the surface of the amethyst. These thin lines should be able to control them, right? The so-called immortal body should be a type of high-grade puppet. Puppet technique? The Undying Legion? Ha-ha! Long Fei laughed madly in his heart. And then, with a palm, he sucked it in and washed the other purple crystal from the other warrior. What is this purple crystal? Possesses such a high level of power. At this moment, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for absorbing Undying Blood Vein. Ding! Devourer's Vein Divine level, current level, 23. Undying Blood Vein. These purple crystal ores contain Undying Blood Vein. After the purple crystal ore was completely absorbed by Long Fei, it instantly turned into powder. I don't care what undead blood vein they are, all of them are going to die. Finding the weakness, Long Fei was extremely excited. What he needed to do now was to kill crazily. Instantly, Long Fei moved and entered the 18th floor of the hell. Yuan Yang Big Beast, do you want to come out and have a good time? At this moment, the Yuan Yang Big Beast raised its eyes and suddenly opened them as it stared at Long Fei. Its eyes filled with anger. Long Fei sneered. Seems like you don't want to come out to celebrate. It doesn't matter. Then just lie there properly for lousy. The instant before Long Fei's idea disappeared, the Yuan Yang Big Beast said solemnly, "Wait." Chapter 1270, Two Great Monsters. Chapter 1270, Two Great Monsters Wait. The Yuan Yang Big Beast's eyes darkened. He is a super war beast from the Yuan Xiang realm. He wants to enter the ancient holy battlefield, but, however, he accidentally entered the chaos realm, causing him to be trapped in the huge array. Now, suppressed within the 18 levels of hell by Long Fei. It could be said, he was simply the shame of the Yuan world. However, as a war beast, we live by war. He was on the verge of becoming a bird in the 18 hells. Although he hated Long Fei, he really wanted to go out and vent his anger. Long Fei smiled faintly. Have you decided? The Yuan Yang Big Beast looked at Long Fei and said, "Let me out." Awesome. Haha. Long Fei laughed complacently and said, "I knew you wanted to go out and enjoy yourself. By the way, let me remind you that don't think about escaping and don't think about killing me either. You're more clear than me about the power of the 18th level of hell. If I summon it, don't even think about touching it, and this is your first chance to do so. If you dare to have any bad intentions, I can assure you that this will be your last time coming out." Long Fei said firmly. Yuan Yang Big Beast was a very terrifying existence. If you were to make a move on her, she would really die. Thus, in addition, after having been in the 18th level of the infernal realm for so long, he knew very well what the power of the 18th level was. The Yuan Yang Big Beast said with anger, "You're too slow. Just quickly let me out. Don't worry. There's a time when you can go out." Long Fei took care of the Yuan Yang Big Beast and then walked toward the place where the Black Flag Army was stationed in with big strides, his voice low, and said, "Black Flag Army team, come out now." The sound exploded. The entire camp instantly became restless. Black Flag Army rushed out from all directions with a torch in hand and surrounded Long Fei in almost an instant. There were more than 10,000 of them. Every single one of them had an undying body. It was hard to imagine just who could control so many high-level puppets at once. Long Fei had also made puppets before, but he could only control one or two of them, and the more he could control, the harder it was to control, let alone tens of thousands of puppets. The puppeteer behind the Black Flag Army group must be extremely powerful. Long Fei. Ha ha! When the leader of the Black Flag Army walked out, Long Fei couldn't help but laugh out loud. There's a path to heaven, but you refuse to go there. I really didn't think of it. Long Fei, is your man underwater? He had clearly escaped, yet he still dared to come here. Aren't you looking to die? Long Fei's mouth hooked into a cold smile. I'll know whether or not I'm here to send myself to my death. Let me ask you, where is Xiao Yao president? Revenge is 1 point. Long Fei still wanted to know if Xiao Yao president was alive or dead. The head of the Black Flag Army laughed. Xiao Yao president? Was it that reckless old thing? As for him, he's naturally being suppressed. In front of us, Black Flag Army, anyone who dares to disobey us will all die. He's no exception. Actually, Xiao Yao president did not die. He was secretly sent to Hellgate. Long Fei's eyes darkened. The suppressed anger in his heart burst out. His fists clenched tightly. His face revealed a sinister look. Since it's like that, then all of you here will die. Ha! The leader laughed and said, You want to kill us? We are the Black Flag Army. We are the Undying Legion, and the people who wanted us to die have never appeared before, little bastard. Not waiting for him to finish. The moment the golden cudgel in Long Fei's hand fell, it charged forward. Shwa! With one step, the golden cudgel leaped into the air and pierced forward fiercely. It roared die. Boom! The golden cudgel directly pierced through the leader's heart and brought out the purple gold ore. The leader's health point instantly bottomed out. Dead. Call me again. Long Fei roared. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Black Flag Army leader for obtaining 10,000 experience, 1,000 holy source points, 10 energy values points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining purple gold ore. Ding. Absorb the purple gold or devouring vein. The system continuously sounded out a few notifications. Long Fei didn't care about it. Sweeping the golden cudgel in his hands across the group of Black Flag Army that were in a daze, he coldly asked in contempt, You're not going to die? Am I going to die now? With his right foot, he directly crushed the leader's head. It was also at this moment. Kill him. Let him die. We must kill him. The secret of undying was discovered, and in this case, Long Fei had to die. If the other powers found out about Black Flag Army's weakness, then Black Flag Army would not be called the Undying Legion, but the Herbal Forcing Legion. Thus, at this moment, a command instantly appeared in the minds of these warriors. Kill Long Fei. And Long Fei was also thinking, someone who can control so many puppets at once must be very powerful, at least a super powerhouse on a Son of God ranking, right? Kill him and we'll definitely explode with power. This legion must be hiding a big boss. Looking at the berserking Black Flag Army that surrounded him, Long Fei smirked and said, Yuan Yang, big beast, it's your turn to fight. Long Fei was fearless. Even if there were more Black Flag Army he would not be the least bit afraid. The purpose of his visit today was to kill him. He wanted to make the Black Flag Army disappear from the Chaos Realm. Receiving the order, the 18 levels of Hell's gates opened. The Yuan Yang big beast slowly stood up, and its body slightly moved. His body exuded an incredibly dense and cruel aura, a brutal aura from the Yuan Great World. Lifting his eyes slightly, a powerful pressure radiated from his eyes as he stepped out of the 18th level of Hell, after which the void shattered as a powerful force gushed down. Rumble, rumble, rumble. When a Yuan Yang big beast fell, the entire arena shook violently. It was huge in size and carried a power aura that could be seen with the naked eye, as it stood beside Long Fei. Long Fei coldly spat out a single word as his gaze swept across the area. Kill. In that instant, the Yuan Yang big beast rushed forward and directly charged into the group of Black Flag Army disciples, like a tiger entering a herd of lambs. Furthermore, he did not follow Long Fei's instructions at all and specifically attacked the center of the heart. He doesn't care if you die or not. Anyway, he was the boundless arrogance, the endless savagery. There was no way for him to survive. Not die. I'll chop you into pieces and see if you die. Almost at this moment, the appearance of a Yuan Yang big beast directly crushed the 10,000 Black Flag Army group. However, the Yuan Yang big beast's speed was limited, and Long Fei wanted to quickly settle this issue. The idea moved. Baron Asher, you come out too. Chapter 1271. A boss can trigger a quest? Chapter 1271. A boss can trigger a quest? It was simply not giving them a chance to live. To make you tremble. Roar. At the place where the crowd was the most concentrated, a black hole appeared in the sky, and a level 500 abnormal version of the Baron Nashor rushed out from a hole. It let out a roar. The 9 sinister and ugly dragon heads roared at the Black Flag Army. Yes. This was the last time for Baron Nashor. Long Fei did not hold back. If the thing was dropped, it would be used. What meaning would there be if it was not used? Kill them all. Kill to your heart's content. Walala. The Baron Nashor spouted out madly, spitting out all kinds of elemental attacks. The power of a level 500 abnormality completely exploded out. It didn't matter if he survived or not. As long as his elemental energy stuck him, he would not be able to escape death. Hell, Black Flag Army? Hell Gate. 9 secret warrior family? Zhan Wushuang. I will step on them one by one. Long Fei roared in his heart and shouted again, kill them all. At this moment, ding, 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 ding. The system's notification sound rang out crazily without stopping. A series of crackling sounds could be heard, and their speeds were extremely fast. The experience bar was moving crazily. At the same time, all of the purple gold ore was being blown out, and the Devourer's veins' power was also frantically being absorbed. Its speed was extremely fast, and the level of the blood vein was increasing bit by bit. 1 minute later, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Spirit Stage Level 9. Not enough. It's not enough yet. Hurry up. Long Fei shouted. Yuan Yang Big Beast, is that all you have? Aren't you going to feel good? I have given you a chance. If you don't perform well, you won't have a second chance. Roar. The Yuan Yang Big Beast was despised by Long Fei. He was extremely unhappy. The power of his body immediately began to burn, and his enormous body began to dart about wildly like a ball of flame. What is he? He was the super war beast of Yuan Chao world. He was once the #1 war beast in Yuan Xiang realm, the strongest war beast that had been selected through layers of selection. Only a war beast with such qualifications could enter the ancient holy battlefield. How could he bear to be looked down upon by Long Fei? Everywhere he went, not a single blade of grass grew. The speed of the Black Flag Army was decreasing, and it was impossible for them to stop these 2 abnormal monsters. The Baron Nashor's AoE damage. The strong pressure of the Yuan Yang Big Beast at this moment meant that this was the hell of the Black Flag Army, and death unceasingly descended. Boom, boom, boom. Explosions could be heard. 5 minutes later. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, day level 1. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, 24. Ding. Congratulations player Long Fei for killing warrior. You have gained 6,000, plus 500 experience, 500, plus 100 holy source, and 10 energy values. The additional 500 experience points were not provided by anyone else, but rather from the partner system. Based on a certain amount of experience, he would gain more. Moreover, this is only the first woman Long Fei has, Queen of Blood Moon. If there were more women, Long Fei thought of Yang Yu and Aoya. Let's find a chance to take care of these two together. If we can do this, our leveling speed will increase a lot again. Only by branding Long Fei's mark could the system recognize him. This way, the kill by Long Fei would have the ability to increase its experience points. It was also at this time. The Baron Nashor spat out a large mouthful of venom and looked at Long Fei seriously with eyes filled with reluctance to part. However, he was unable to contend against the power of the system, and a powerful force sucked him in from the void. It disappeared. Third use. It was also at this time. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for gaining the favor of the Baron Nashor and obtaining the special item Baron's Heart. Baron's Heart. What is this? Long Fei was startled. The three appearances of Baron Nashor gave Long Fei a lot of experience. Putting aside the fact that the Baron Nashor had feelings for him, Long Fei also had feelings for him. This guy was simply upgrading the machine. How could he do without him? Item. Heart of the Baron attribute. None description. The second time the Baron Nashor will fuse with the Baron's Heart, the level of the Baron Nashor will be doubled, and you will obtain the right to use it permanently. So that's how it is. Long Fei's heart trembled as he thought to himself, 500 levels is already abnormal enough. If it was 1,000 levels, wouldn't that mean that the world would be destroyed? However, if I can enter the ancient holy battlefield with this guy, wouldn't I be able to take charge of myself? Huff! The Baron Nashor was dropped by a level 5 berserk beast. I wonder when it will come out again. Long Fei was reluctant. He really wasn't willing to lose a super leveling machine. Departure was for the sake of meeting again. Since he had revealed the Baron's Heart, there was a chance for him to get the Baron Nashor to drop it again. And then, Long Fei looked at the Yuan Yang big beast and said, "Hurry up, don't let these Black Flag army escape." The Yuan Yang big beast fought crazily. The sound of Long Fei's experience points had never been heard before. A few minutes later, ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, day level 1. He leveled up once again. Just like that, just like that. However, at this time, there were only a few Black Flag Army S left in the Black Flag Army's camp, some of them fleeing in all directions, not daring to fight anymore. Yuan Yang Big Beast were too savage. Blood covered the ground, including severed arms, legs, and heads. It was like hell on earth. The situation was too cruel. Long Fei liked it too much. Long Fei's ideas sank and quickly spread outwards, then slowly walked towards the general's tent inside the army camp, because he felt a strong power coming from inside. Long Fei had sensed it from the beginning. It was just that he was worried that if he killed this boss, all of the Black Flag Army would die. What if he did not have any experience? Wouldn't that be a huge loss? So he killed them one by one. "Come out." Long Fei stood at the entrance of the tent and said slightly, "What else is there to hide? Your Black Flag Army is already dead, great puppet master." "My dear boss." Haha. There was no response from inside the tent. Long Fei frowned and said, "Giant beast, flip the tent over." As soon as he finished, the Yuan Yang Big Beast's palm fiercely slapped and directly blew the tent away. In a corner of the tent, a person wearing black clothes. His appearance could not be seen clearly, but he was truly trembling. His body was emitting a strange golden light. What was even more special was, there was an exclamation mark floating above his head. What did this mean? It meant that there was a quest to trigger, or something else. Was startled. The boss also triggered a quest. Chapter 1272. Long Fei is dead. Chapter 1272. Long Fei is dead after playing the game for so many years. He only knew how to kill the boss. He never knew that the boss could trigger a quest. What can it trigger? Could he draw out a stronger boss? Long Fei did not make his move in a hurry. He wanted to understand why this was happening. "Don't tremble. Your Black Flag Army is dead," Long Fei said in a deep voice. Beneath the huge black robe, he was still trembling as if he was afraid to speak. Long Fei also shouted out fiercely and said angrily, "Stand up." When the Yuan Yang Big Beast was angry, it could not bear to see such a weak person. With a move of its sharp claws, it suddenly slapped on the head of that person. Voila! A strong gust of wind blew past. Swish! With a huge explosion, all of the clothes on his body crumbled. What shocked Long Fei was that under the black clothes, there was a peerless beauty with incomparably fair skin and wearing a fiery hot outfit. Furthermore, right now, she only had a small barrier on her body and was only able to see her insides. There was nothing else that could be seen from the outside. The woman looked to be around 20 years old, and the torn clothes on her body trembled even more. She didn't dare to look at Long Fei in the eyes. He was scared. Long Fei was secretly shocked in his heart. He can control an intelligent, high-level puppet like the 10,000 Black Flag Army at such a young age. Isn't this too monstrous? But what exactly is the exclamation mark above her head? Long Fei stared at her and said, "You are the great puppet master of the Black Flag Army?" The woman didn't say anything, only lightly nodded her head. At this time, Long Fei suddenly shouted again, "Are you a mute? Can't you speak?" At this moment, the woman suddenly raised her head as a charming and enticing power emitted from her eyes. This was the power of a spirit and was her strongest power, which was also why she could control the power of over 10,000 Black Flag Army. Mental control technique. Once her consciousness entered the sea of consciousness, she would instantly be able to control your idea and also change your body a little. Then, Long Fei would be a member of the new group of Black Flag Army. Too fast. It was too sudden. Long Fei was completely unprepared. This was also because Long Fei was confused by the exclamation mark above her head. Who would have thought that a naked woman could be so lethal? And she was a peerless beauty. How could he have thought that it would be as poisonous as a snake or a scorpion? At this moment, Long Fei's pupils suddenly shrank. His mind was instantly controlled. His idea gradually lost its leadership ability, as though in that instant, Long Fei's sea of consciousness was quickly taken over. F***CK. I've been tricked. Long Fei tried his best to break away from it, but it was completely out of the question. This mental control ability was too strong. It was not something Long Fei could resist right now. On the other hand, the Yuan Yang Big Beast did not know anything. What happened? He had no idea. When Long Fei had a strange look in her eyes, the Yuan Yang Big Beast thought that Long Fei had become like this the moment he saw the girl. The woman slowly stood up. A cold smile that did not match her age surfaced on her face, and she said faintly, "Hell Gates Junior Master is indeed extraordinary. However, since you know that I'm a great puppet master, then you should be clear about my strength, but you aren't prepared at all. Are you challenging me?" Ha ha! The woman was very pleased with herself. The people she controlled were people that even the powerhouse son of God ranking wouldn't be able to escape from. Just like the Xiao Yao President of Lianyu Castle. It was also controlled by her. Long Fei's face also turned ugly. His mind was like a virus invading his brain. He could no longer control it. "Don't be proud. When I recover, I will destroy you." The lady sneered and said, "Recovering? Ha ha! Young Master Long Fei, you are really thinking too much. If it weren't for the fact that you used to be good to our puppet department, you would already be my puppet. Do you think you can still talk now?" If the woman used even a little bit of strength, Long Fei's body would quickly be occupied. Puppet technique. Puppet technique. What is the method to break it? The method to crack the formation. Long Fei's mind kept thinking, for this world, people who could cultivate this kind of puppet technique, even if it was originally already known, those who could still cultivate the puppet technique to such a high level were even rarer. As for the woman in front of him, she could use puppet technique of her consciousness without even daring to think. The legendary realm. How do I break it? Long Fei crazily thought of a countermeasure. The power of the mind, break it. What do I do? It was too difficult. He was also not very familiar with the puppet technique, and if he was able to break through this mental control technique, he would be even more confused and would not be able to think of a way to do it. The Yuan Yang Big Beast at the side looked like a fool, as it did not know whether Long Fei was alive or dead. If he knew, he could just let him kill that woman. However, Long Fei couldn't let him do it because once the Yuan Yang Big Beast found out about his situation, not only would he not kill the woman, He would even kill himself. With Long Fei dead, the Yuan Yang big beast was free. Why did I want to help Long Fei? The woman laughed complacently. Don't even think about it. My soul control technique is unable to break it. Your memories could actually be sealed by the seal. You should be clear about my strength. Long Fei said, everything has its own methods. I must break it, and I must kill you. The woman revealed a disdainful smile, saying, it seems like you really do not understand my power. Unless you die, you will not be able to break it. Young Master Long Fei, don't resist. The more you resist, the more uncomfortable it will become. The woman did not want Long Fei to suffer too much. After all, Long Fei had been the man she admired and the man she liked at that time. If not for these, Long Fei would already be dead. Die. If I die, then I can break the spiritual control. That's right. Why didn't I think of that? If I die, all the spiritual energy will disappear. Long Fei seemed to have gone crazy. The woman trembled and asked, what do you want to do? Long Fei, what are you planning to do? She knew what Long Fei was thinking in his mind. Long Fei grinned. What are you doing? You'll know soon enough. And then, Long Fei roared and said in a heavy tone, Yuan Yang big beast, kill me. The Yuan Yang big beast shook and looked at Long Fei with a dumbstruck expression. He was thinking, is this guy testing me? F***CK. Humans are too sinister. The Yuan Yang big beast shook its head. Long Fei shouted once again, I order you to kill me. The more it was like this, the more the Yuan Yang big beast didn't dare to make a move. Finally, they were forced to do so. Long Fei began to curse angrily and said, you think a trash beast like you can go to the ancient holy battlefield? Or is it some top-notch war beast in the Yuan Great World? In my opinion, you're nothing more than a pile of dog shit. You'll be nothing more than cannon fodder when you go to the divine battlefield. Fury, the Yuan Yang big beast's anger was burning. At this moment, the Yuan Yang big beast was so angry that it could not stop, and its palm struck down. Boom! With a palm strike, Long Fei's health point fell to the bottom. Fury, he struck out a palm and directly sent Long Fei flying tens of meters away. Fury, he struck out a palm and directly sent Long Fei flying tens of meters away. His strength had been reduced to a complete mess. Bam! With a thump, the health point above his head instantly bottomed out. Instant kill. Even the Yuan Yang big beast was caught off guard. You can insult me, but you can't insult Yuan Zhou. Long Fei. Watching Long Fei slowly fall to the ground, she coldly said, death may be a form of release for you. It was also at this time. The Yuan Yang big beast stared at the lady and said solemnly, you have to die too. Almost at the same time, the woman also said, you have to die too. Their gazes met. The two sides clashed. It was also at this moment that Long Fei's figure suddenly attacked, shouting out, Yuan Yang big beast, beautifully done. Without waiting for the Yuan Yang big beast to react, Long Fei immediately summoned all 18 layers of hell to take him in, afraid that the Yuan Yang big beast would hit him again with a second palm. After doing all this, Long Fei stood in front of the woman with 3 points, revealed an evil smile, and said, I, Long Fei, will keep my promise. However, Long Fei's idea moved and clicked. He tapped the exclamation mark on the woman's head, but couldn't click it. The woman was stunned. Why is that? That one palm strike just now was sure to kill Long Fei. Yuan Yang big beast that was taken into the 18 level of hell also had a stupefied expression. Why did all of this happen? He knew better than anyone else how powerful that palm strike was. It had defeated Long Fei in an instant. But there was not a single wound on Long Fei's body. Why is that? I don't understand. He didn't understand it at all. Of course, they didn't know that Long Fei had a resurrection ring on him, and the moment Long Fei found the solution to the spirit manipulation technique, he activated it. Death was the only way to break free from the control of the mind. Some of the resurrection ring were instantly resurrected, causing them to be shocked. Awesome, right? Shocked. You want to kill me? Not even the gods can do it. Long Fei stared at the woman's dazed eyes and thought, damn, if I can't open it, I'll do it. I don't want this mission. The lady was caught off guard and was pushed down to the ground by Long Fei. The weakness of puppeteers was their ability to engage in close combat. Long Fei pressed her down to the ground, causing her to immediately panic. Long Fei shouted, "Spirit control me? Great puppet master! Is it that amazing? Your father wants to control you." The fire was raging. Moreover, the resurrection ring's endurance was equivalent to resurrecting once. In total, it only had 5 points of endurance, which meant that Long Fei could only revive 5 times. It hurt to waste it like this. If he didn't find anything in return, wouldn't that be a huge loss? Moreover, this way, she wouldn't be able to use her mind control technique. Long Fei, don't be like this, don't be like this. You can't do this. Isn't the person you like Xinyuan Lier? You can't do this to me. The woman struggled. However, her cultivation was weak. It was only at Purple Realm. Her strong point was her mental strength. It was at the puppet technique, so no matter how she struggled, she could not get pressed down on the ground by Long Fei. Xinyuan Lier wants it too. You can't escape either. Long Fei said solemnly. Don't you know how to use the puppet technique? Didn't you want to control my spirit? Continue. More than an hour passed. Long Fei crawled up for the girl's body. The system suddenly sounded out a prompt. At the same time, the exclamation mark above her head also disappeared. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for taming and obtaining a second partner. Ding! System notification. 2 partners experience points. Holy source value increased by 15%. Rup. 2 partners, 15% experience. Holy source value bonus. Isn't this too awesome? Ha. However, the woman's body trembled slightly. She subconsciously curled up her body and tightened her legs. She crossed her arms and asked, "What are you trying to do? You, what else do you want to do?" It was unknown whether it was hatred or something else, but her eyes were staring straight at Long Fei. Junior Master of the Hellgate had always liked Xinyuan Lier. He would not look at any woman. For what? Long Fei laughed sinisterly and said, "What else can I do? Of course it's about doing something you love to do." The woman's body rolled out once more. Tears rolled down from the corners of her eyes, but she didn't continue to resist. A woman's heart was on the verge of dying after losing her precious item. Seeing her tears, Long Fei's hands moved. He wiped the tears off her face and took off his jacket to cover her body. Then he asked with a serious face, "Are you willing to be my woman?" System default. However, Long Fei still wanted to ask because forcing them to ask was not a good idea. The woman was stunned on the spot. She muttered to herself while looking at Long Fei. Didn't you only like Xinyuan Lier? But now, Long Fei interrupted. "Don't worry about Xinyuan Lier right now. I will ask you right now. Is it because she is my Long Fei's woman?" The woman smiled like a flower and immediately nodded. He nodded his head like a chick pecking rice. I'm willing. Chapter 1274, Storm Rolling. Chapter 1274, Storm Rolling. All right. From now on, you are my Long Fei's woman. Long Fei pulled the woman into his embrace and said gently, "Your cultivation has yet to improve. I wasn't afraid of your pain just now. I could have fought another 300 rounds, a little bit weaker than Queen of Blood Moon." Long Fei was very overbearing. He was even more domineering when it came to cold women. Moreover, once a woman was exposed to the sun, her heart would change. Why did she fall in love with Long Fei so quickly? Of course, this was only Long Fei's guess. Speaking of the queen, sigh. Long Fei looked in the direction of the ghost's cave and muttered, "I wonder how she's doing with her cultivation. Her lady queen is still rather fierce. Not a night's rest. Fierce. It's simply too powerful." And then, Long Fei moved a bit and summoned her fire unicorn. "Go to Ghost's Cave. Tell Queen of Blood Moon that I went there. And if she is cultivated well, tell her to come and find me there, or the next time I come to look for him." Long Fei had nowhere else to go. Lianyu Castle was massacred. Hell Gates Ju, Bounty Gate's hunters and Myriad Alliance's powerhouse S were all defeated, and it wouldn't be long before all three of the great sects were in pursuit of Long Fei. And there was also the God's Mountain Gate. Didn't even know where the huge Chaos Realm was going. What he needed to do now was to find a place to level up, frantically level up, and quickly raise the level of the God's Martial Sect. Activation of the partner system. Long Fei needed a lot of women right now, so he wanted to transfer all the women in the God's Martial Continent to the Chaos Realm. A great stroke. More importantly, is the double experience buff the ultimate goal? Of course not. There was no time to delay matters regarding the God's Martial Sect level. It had to be raised quickly. The fire unicorn turned into a ball of light and disappeared into the horizon. Long Fei looked at the girl beside him and asked, "Is it still painful?" The woman looked at Long Fei's blissful face and shook her head. "It doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt." The expression in Long Fei's eyes changed. The woman's cheeks flushed red. A little. Long Fei took the opportunity to hug her princess tightly in his embrace and said softly, "I was too barbaric just now. I'm sorry. I should have been more gentle." The woman leaned her head into Long Fei's embrace and said with a voice as soft as a mosquito, "I like savages." His face turned even redder, and he looked like a ripe red apple. The corner of Long Fei's mouth rose and said, "When your injuries heal, I'll be even more savage." "Right, I still don't know your name." The girl was stunned for a moment and said, "Did your memories really not awaken? What about your power?" "It's been rumored that your power has awakened, but when I entered your brain just now, I didn't feel that power awakening. It was the awakening of memories again. It was another awakening." Basically, whenever a person from the Hell Gate saw Long Fei, they would ask him about the power awakening. What other power was hidden in his body? Do we really have to enter the tower question of God to search? Xiao Yao president had said before that his father left something for him in the tower question of God, and that thing was the thing that awakened his power. Long Fei did not answer, but said, "I have a blank memory and can't remember a lot of things." The woman smiled faintly and said, "It's good if you don't remember, but it's better if you don't. My name is Gue Ro. You can call me Ro-Air." Gue Ro. What's his surname? Long Fei was startled. Ro-Air said, "Our puppet clan's responsibility is to protect the Hell Gate's door. We are like ghosts here, so the first sect master of Hell Gate bestowed us with a ghostly name. Change. When I take back the Hell Gate, I will change your surname." Long Fei said, "Oh right, is Xiao Yao president really dead?" Ro-Air replied, "No, he was sent to Hell Gate, but he was still. If Xiao Yao Business Alliance were to interfere with the affairs of the Hell Gate, I am afraid that it will not be long before the Xiao Yao Business Alliance will disappear." Long Fei, you call it by name? Husband, Hell Gate's power is too strong. Adding on a 9 secret warrior family behind Zhang Wushuang, there probably isn't any power that can match up to him. And with Bounty Gate failing twice in a row on you, with the Myriad Alliance's powerhouse being killed, the entire Chaos Realm having no place to stand on, unless you can join the Tower Question of God. Husband, Xiao Yao president is right. The Tower Question of God is your only path. If you want to turn the tides and take back everything that belongs to you, you can only join the Tower Question of God. Ro-Air said worriedly. Long Fei muttered, "Tower Question of God?" Along the way, Long Fei didn't speak any further, and slowly disappeared into the darkness with Rower in his arms. "Why hasn't Boss returned yet?" "No, I have to go find him. I want to go too. Let's all go. If Boss has any accidents, Lousy will risk my life to defeat some Hellgate." 8 King Kong didn't leave at all after waking up. Kunlun Zi tried to advise him otherwise, but it was to no avail. These people are just like stubborn cows. They won't listen to anything you say. Kunlun Zi said, "Song Long, Elder Chu, please tell me about it too." The Azure Dragon said, "What did you say? I also want to go back and fight it out with these people." Kunlun Zi was instantly speechless and said, "You followed them and started a commotion as well. So what time is it now? We need to get out of here as soon as possible. If Boss doesn't come back, I definitely won't leave." Li Yuanba said, "Are you all that disobedient?" At this moment, Long Fei slowly walked out. Seeing that more than a dozen people had recovered, he finally relaxed. Looking at Roaer in his arms, Arhut asked, "Who is she?" Li Yuanba said straightforwardly, "Are you stupid? You don't even know who you are? Sister-in-law, of course. Otherwise, why would he be in boss arms? If you can't even understand this, then you're still a 8 King Kong." Being looked down upon by Li Yuanba's IQ, Arhut was instantly speechless. No matter how many women Long Fei had, she would not be jealous because in her heart, it was enough as long as she loved this man. Yang Yu's heart was a little sour. Boom! A flame descended from the sky. The fire unicorn landed and said to Long Fei, "Master, your words have reached me. Queen of Blood Moon hasn't made a breakthrough yet, and she can't come out with me. But he gave me this, and she said that if you need her, she would break it." She rushed there in the shortest time possible. A blood pearl. There was the Queen of Blood Moon's mark inside. Arhut puzzledly asked again, "Who is the Queen of Blood Moon?" At this moment, other than Aoya, everyone in 8 King Kong looked at Luo Han and said, "You're silly, of course you're my sister-in-law." To the Kunlun sect, Lianyu Castle became ruins. Black Flag Army was massacred. Long Fei's reputation had spread far and wide. The massive vortex of the chaotic virtues slowly began to spin. In another place, Yin Huang ancestor stood at the peak of a mountain, looked into the distance, and laughed faintly. "Long Fei, the storm and chaos realm has started. Rise crazily." Chapter 1275, Main Artifact, God's Shield. Chapter 1275, Main Artifact, God's Shield Hellgate. What's the use of keeping you trash? Zhan Wushuang's eyes were brimming with fury and incomparable rage. The phantom puppet patriarch of Hellgate kneeled on the ground and said, "Young Lord is right. This time we underestimated that brat's strength. Next time we will definitely not do so." "Next time? Do you think you have another chance? Can I still believe your puppet ghost clan?" "Guilty ghost. Your daughter already ran off with someone. What qualifications do you have to become the ghost clan's patriarch? What qualifications do you have to kneel before me?" Zhan Wushuang said coldly. The ghost's head heavily kowtowed as he said, "I was the one who failed to discipline her. I will definitely personally capture her and bring her back. I will definitely punish her in all kinds of ways." HNG. Guei used to like Long Fei too, right? Now that she's by Long Fei's side, do you think you can capture her and bring her back? Zhan Wushuang sneered. "A trash is a trash." "All right then. I want to see what you'll do with Liu." Zhan Wushuang's gaze swept across them, then looked at the numerous patriarchs and elders of the Hell's Hall and coldly said, "Don't worry about this matter for now. Even if Dragon Trash is given 100 years, he will still be a piece of trash. How is the collection of ancient spiritual treasure that I told you to do during this period of time doing?" Hellgate suddenly gathered a large number of ancient spiritual treasure. This matter was ordered by Zhan Wushuang. "Young Master, we have collected 18 soul treasures and have completed our mission. Our water race has collected 20 of them. Our savage beast demonic clan has collected 16 of them. 12. The various elders and family patriarchs all expressed their opinions. The total number of these figures was over 500. It was just that the Ghost Clan's ghost didn't say anything for a long time. Zhan Wushuang asked, "Patriarch Guei, what about your mission?" Guei Ju said in a low voice, "This matter has always been my responsibility, so, young master, I will definitely bring her back as soon as possible. I'll definitely do it as soon as possible." Not waiting for him to finish, the corner of Zhan Wushuang's mouth quirked upwards as he faintly smiled and said, "There's no need." Guei Ju relaxed and said, "Many thanks, young lord. Many thanks, young lord." It was just that. In this instant, Zhan Wushuang disappeared, and in that instant, he landed in front of Guei. His 5 fingers turned into sharp claws that instantly covered Guei's head. Crack! 5 bloody holes appeared on the top of his head, and blood spurted out from them. Guei's eyes bulged, and his body trembled as he said, young lord, don't." The Ghost Clan, the defense tribe of the Hell Gate, is also known as the Immortal Clan. However, in front of me, you puppeteers are nothing but trash. Zhang Wushuang said sinisterly. You may bear the responsibility for the crimes your daughter committed. As for your daughter, don't worry, I will personally capture him and bring him back. He exerted force with his 5 fingers. The ghost let out a painful scream. Get out! Slash! With a wail from a netherworld, Zhang Wushuang's bloody fingers grabbed out a skeleton spirit body. This was the soul of the ghost. At this moment, Gue K's eyes were lifeless as he instantly collapsed onto the ground. His entire body was twitching and trembling. Even when he was dead, he was still trembling. His soul was being pulled out. This kind of feeling was incomparably difficult to bear. Buzz! Zhang Wushuang's left hand moved and madly kneaded the ball of soul, directly absorbing it into his body. All the elders and patriarchs in the great hall lowered their heads, not even daring to breathe loudly. This kind of soul-devouring cultivation technique was a power that everyone was afraid of. 9 secret warrior family had originally come from hell. After Zhang Wushuang absorbed the spirit energy, he said, right now, all of you should focus on collecting ancient spiritual treasure. 500 ancient spiritual treasure are not enough. I still need more. As for that trash-long Fei, there's no need to care about him. The Bounty Gate and the Myriad Alliance will definitely not let him off easy. All of the people within the Great Hall became heavy as they said, we shall obey the young lord's orders. Right. One more thing. The Xiao Yao Business Alliance actually dares to interfere in the affairs of our Hell Gate. We will either hand over 100 ancient spiritual treasure or destroy our entire clan. Zhang Wushuang said. An elder said, since Xiao Yao president is here, then his words are. Zhang Wushuang slightly sneered. His ranking is higher than mine. Since he came to the Hell Gate, how can I not meet the king of hell? Ha ha. Half an hour later, Zhang Wushuang arrived at the place where the Xiao Yao president was locked up. At this moment, Xiao Yao president's mind control technique had also disappeared. Seeing Zhang Wushuang, his heart sank. Zhang Wushuang laughed blandly. Xiao Yao president, you dare to meddle in the matters of my Hell Gate. You are truly bold. All right then, you are ranked higher than me, so I want to take this opportunity to raise my Emperor list's rank. Zhang Wushuang's eyes were filled with contempt, not putting Xiao Yao president in his eyes at all. It was as if increasing his ranking was an easy thing to do. Xiao Yao president clenched his fists tightly. After considering for half a second, he said, all right. At this moment, his killing intent rose. As long as Zhang Wushuang was killed, it would be a blow to both 9 secret warrior family in Hell Gate, and would also buy Long Fei more time. He walked out of the cell. Xiao Yao president lowered both hands, summoning the purple and red swords. Her eyes locked onto Zhang Wushuang. Move. A battle between experts would only take 10% of a second to determine life or death. In the instant that Xiao Yao president moved, Zhang Wushuang also moved. He waved the long sword in his hand, chopping through the air and piercing out. Clang! Flames flew in all directions. The 2 figures bounced away. Boom! The figure bounced away again. The 3rd time, it was still bounced off, and the outcome was not decided. However, Zhang Wushuang lost his patience and said, seems like I'm still not suitable to use the sword. Clang! He immediately tossed the sword aside, and an enormous shield appeared in his hand. The gambling cards were carved with a golden light that soared to the heavens. God's Shield. Main artifact. Xiao Yao president had never seen a sword attack before. Zhang Wushuang's idea moved and linked it to the God's Shield. The golden light on the God's Shield became even brighter. Slash! The power that erupted from the shield pierced through Xiao Yao president's body. There weren't any injuries on his body, but Xiao Yao president's internal organs were all turned to powder and corroded. Zhang Wushuang did not stop there. With a leap, he landed on top of Xiao Yao president's head and fiercely grabbed down with his 5 fingers as claws, pulling out his soul in that instant. Boom! Before Zhang Wushuang could refine it, The god shield had already devoured the Xiao Yao president's soul. Xiao Yao president slowly kneeled on the ground, and his body went limp as he fell. Die. Zhang Wushuang laughed coldly. Xiao Yao president? They couldn't even withstand a single blow. But it wasted the energy of my 10th floor ancient spiritual treasure. I need to collect more ancient spiritual treasure. Only then will I be able to stand in an invincible position and enter the tower question of God. To be able to mount Xianyuan the air under his crotch. Ha! Chapter 1276, Kunlun Sect. Chapter 1276, Kunlun Sect, and then there was Long Fei. After a journey of 3 months, he finally arrived at the Kunlun Mountains. There were countless dangerous peaks in the Kunlun Mountains, and the abyss and canyons were everywhere. The demon beast in the mountain range was also abnormally fierce. This kind of mountain range could be said to be a natural barrier. It was extremely difficult to find the Kunlun sect inside it, and even more difficult if one wanted to find a single person. Moreover, the Kunlun sect was not located on top of a dangerous peak, but in a valley that could not be found no matter how hard one tried. This was the biggest secret of the Kunlun sect. Kunlun Z landed. When the 2 disciples saw this, their expressions immediately became excited. They respectfully walked forward and knelt on one knee. Grand Elder. Kunlun Z smiled faintly, waved his hand, and said, "Quickly open the door." The mountain gate moved. The mountain suddenly shook and then slashed open. Kunlun Z said, "Kunlun sect is probably the best place to hide people. You guys can all stay in peace here. What Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, and the 10,000 Alliance sect can't even think of finding this place easily." Fat Man Chin muttered, "How do we find this place? This is too mysterious. This is the first time I have seen such a design." Li Yuanba scratched his head and said naively, "It can cut through mountains. What a strong pushing force." Arhut said, "What a supernatural feat." Kunlunzi revealed a proud smile and said, "This was left behind by the master. As for how it was done, even I do not know." Long Fei was surprised, but he was also shocked by the scene of the mountain moving. Such a strong mechanism technique, being able to connect several mountains and control the power of the mountain. I'm afraid this mechanism technique is at its peak. Seems like Kunlun sect of Kunlun sect is a mechanical expert. He did not say this out loud, because from the looks of it, Kunlun Z cared a lot. A dozen or so passed through the mountain and arrived in the valley 10 minutes later. Immortal clouds shrouded the area. Strange flowers and strange plants. All kinds of buildings were erected in the middle of the mountain, just like those immortal sects in the immortal world. Flying swords were flying in the sky, and every place was like a paradise. Li Yuanba and the others were immediately stunned. They were dumbstruck, just like Grandma Lu, who was strolling around the grand viewing garden. Everything that happened here made them feel a sense of novelty. Long Fei was also stunned. Kunlunzi laughed. "Our Kunlun sect was created here in order to avoid war and strife. Right now, our chaos realm is also in a state of turmoil, and the great storm that started with the tragic changes in our Hell Gate started here. This is probably the best place for us to enjoy life. You can be at ease as well. No one can find this place. At this moment, Grand Elder? Ah, the Great Master is back. The last time I came back was more than 30 years ago. Welcome, Grand Elder." Figures flew out from a huge building, each of them with a respectful smile on their faces. Kunlun Z laughed lightly. "It's been a few decades since we last met. You guys have all grown up, and your cultivation level has increased by a lot." An elder who looked to be around 70 to 80 years old walked up and asked, "Grand Elder, who are these people?" "The current sect master of the Kunlun sect." "What XIN?" Kunlun Z said, "These are all my friends. I want you to make some arrangement to stay here for a period of time." What XIN immediately smiled and said, "Welcome, welcome. The Great Master's friends are our Kunlun sect's friends." To be called as friends by Kunlun Z, these people must not be simple. However, Huaxian did not see anything special about it. Its cultivation was average, and it did not release any signs of qi and even gifted Vanes could not see anything special. Hua Xian looked at Long Fei and asked casually, "What may I call you, little brother?" Long Fei did not hide anything, and said, "Long Fei." As soon as he finished, Hua Xian's eyes darkened. Long Fei. The faces of the surrounding elders and disciples all changed. Kunlun Zi frowned. Hua Xian immediately said, "Hualin, bring these esteemed guests around. Let them familiarize themselves with the environment of the Kunlun sect." Not waiting for him to finish, a man who was only around the same age as Long Fei immediately asked, "What are you looking at? We do not wish to cause trouble. Hell Gate, Bounty Gate, Profound Sky Sect, God's Mountain Gate. Can we afford to offend that kind of power? Even if these powers don't come." But Hualin looked at Long Fei and asked, "Do you know how much your life is worth?" 100 million Xian crystal. Hualin looked at Li Yuanba and said, "You're 60 million Xian crystal. 56 million. And you guys." It was true that the Kunlun sect was deep in the mountains, but he had his own methods of communication, and it didn't take long for that to happen. During the 3 months that Long Fei was on his way, too many things had happened in the Chaos Realm. Zhan Wushuang entered the Son of God ranking. The Bounty Gate's bounty was raised to the 5th level consecutively. From the original 100,000 Xian crystal, Long Fei's bounty rose to the current 100 million. 100 million Xian crystal. Even the entire Kunlun sect wouldn't be able to produce 20 million of them. While he was speaking, a disciple took out a stack of wanted posters. Hualin threw it on a Long Fei and said, "You guys take a look for yourselves. See how overbearing you are. This is the first time in the history of Bounty Gate that such a high bounty has been placed. You can't even imagine how many people in the Chaos Realm want your lives. Even the Powerhouse S of those Emperor List S and the Powerhouse S of the Son of God ranking are all restless. Staying here will only bring disaster to our Kunlun sect. You are not welcome here." Long Fei held out a stack of bounty slips. Suddenly, he thought of the One Piece sect's Lu Fei and his group. Without waiting for Long Fei to laugh, Li Yuanba laughed out loud first. "Ha ha, my life is actually so valuable. When have I ran out of money to sell myself off? Ha ha ha." His domineering aura was depicted on the bounty slip. The muscles on his body bulged as he carried the great axe on his shoulder, appearing extremely valiant. Fat Minchin also laughed loudly. "Ha ha, so cool. Isn't this too overbearing? Tianling, why is there no description of you on your bounty token? How strange. Can't you draw it?" The Sky Spirit was a rather special existence. Not human, not ghost, not demon. Long Fei was also a little excited in his heart as he muttered, "It's only 100 million Xian crystal. When will it reach 1 billion? I wonder if I'll be able to flip the Bounty Gate over." Hualin was immediately shocked by Long Fei's words. Hua Xian was also stunned. The Bounty Gate's bounty. This was the same as a hunting order. They were going to be hunted down by all the experts in the Chaos Realm. And they were still smiling? Long Fei smiled faintly and said, "Big Brother Kunlun, thank you. We won't disturb you any longer. Let's go." It was also at this time. Kunlun Zi was slightly angered and said, "I told you all to stay in the Kunlun sect, so you all must stay. If anyone dares to object again, don't blame this old man for going crazy." Immediately, Hualin didn't even dare to fart. Chapter 1277, Arrogant? You are courting death. Chapter 1277, Arrogant? You are courting death. Once the bounty was out, Long Fei, 8 King Kong, Gue Ro, Yang Yu, Niu Dashin, and the others instantly fell into danger. Chu Chong Kong and Tsong Long left halfway, and the two of them were not on the bounty list. Long Fei and the rest could be hunted down at any time. Moreover, you have no idea when danger will befall you. Any power that wanted to help them could fall into a crisis. Long Fei did not want to implicate the Kunlun sect, so it was reasonable for Hualin to have such a reaction. After all, this was a land of joy, and no one was willing to let the Kunlun sect take the risk. Long Fei was also unwilling. However, No matter how much he was unwilling, he would not be able to withstand Kunlun Zi's resolute and decisive urge to stay. In the end, Long Fei and the rest were arranged to stay in a large courtyard with 2 disciples guarding the door, preventing them from leaving. What do you mean? Do you want to put us under house arrest? Neo Dashin was the first to become unhappy. 8 King Kong was also furious. Boss, this place actually doesn't welcome us. Let's leave this place. The Chaos Realm is 100 times bigger than the God's Martial Continent. I don't believe there is no place for us to stay. The Celestial Spirit said. Li Yuanba also added, That's right. If worst comes to worst, we'll just become a bandit and fight over the auction. All the King Kong looked at Li Yuanba. Li Yuanba laughed proudly. The auction has a lot of money. It's much better than being a bandit on the mountain. Oh yeah, snatching an auction isn't bad at all. To steal good stuff. What volume question of God, what life essence, God disappear powder, etc. These things are all worth a lot of money. Boss, why aren't you saying anything? When 8 King Kong talked about robbery, he was extremely excited, as if he wanted to do something big immediately. Long Fei sat on the chair. Gue Ro pinched his left shoulder, and Yang Yu rubbed his right shoulder. Aoya leaned on his thigh like a lazy little kitten. This day was extremely comfortable. However, Long Fei was not in the mood to enjoy all these. He was thinking about what had happened in the Lianyu Castle. The 8 King Kong had 8 types of special powers, and they were all very strong. However, right now they were still not strong enough, and their strength had not received the strongest stimulation. Right now they were only doing whatever they wanted, so they did not put too much emphasis on cultivation. If he wanted to improve, he would have to gain systematic training. Although the Kunlun sect was not big, it had a good cultivation system that had been passed down for thousands of years. If 8 King Kong's strength could be increased, then they would definitely be even more valiant. The key point was, if the God's martial sect wanted to level up, they would have to increase their cultivation. Only then would the guild be able to level up. Now, they needed a place to rest. Long Fei really needed to activate the God's martial sect's level increase and the teleportation force of the sect. After a long time, Long Fei slightly said, Let's wait a while longer. Kunlun Grand Hall. Hua Xian asked, Master, are we really going to keep them here? Many of the elders in the hall had their foreheads locked. They were all worried in their hearts. Long Fei and the rest were really too dangerous. Kunlun Zi said firmly, I promised them. And why did Master establish a Kunlun sect? In order to let some people escape the chaos of war and dispute, there should be more than a few such disciples in our Kunlun sect, right? Since it's all taking them in, why not accept them? Huolin said, Great clan elder, they're different. You have seen their bounty money, not to mention the warriors outside. Even the disciples of Kunlun sect have thoughts of killing them. Huolin, Hua Xian suddenly shouted. Huolin did not immediately shut her mouth, but instead said, What I am saying is the truth. 100 million Xian crystal S, is worth more than the entire Kunlun sect. You're still talking? Hua Xian was enraged. The imposing aura around his body suddenly shook and immediately crushed Huolin. Huolin's face sunk, revealing a look of pain. Kunlun Zi waved his right hand slightly, and a surge of energy blocked the pressure Hua Xian released as he said indifferently, Huolin is right. How many people are not tempted by the 100 million Xian crystal bounty? However, one must have the principle of being a human being. Moreover, Kunlun Zi raised his gaze and said faintly, They're much stronger than you can imagine. He had personally witnessed the death of the 3rd-ranked son of God ranking. I personally saw the powerhouse on the Emperor list fly into the air. As for the matter of the Black Flag Army being slaughtered, although he did not personally witness it, he believed that it was definitely Long Fei who did it. No one in the Kunlun sect will be able to do such a thing, including him. Strong? How strong can he be? Your cultivation is just that high. How strong can you be? Many people did not believe it in their hearts. One of the clan elders said, Great clan elder, since they are as strong as you say, then why do they still need to live under our Kunlun sect S? What are we letting them do? Exactly. Great clan elder. They are too dangerous. If we are discovered, I'm afraid our Kunlun sect will be. I don't agree. Many elders voiced their opinions. Basically, they did not agree with Long Fei staying. To the Kunlun sect, it was too dangerous. She did not want to be thrown into chaos by Long Fei during these few years of peaceful life. Kunlun Zi looked at Hua Xian. Hua Xian's brows tightened and said faintly, Master, as the sect master of the Kunlun sect, my first concern is the safety of the Kunlun sect. I also disagree with having them stay. Hua Lin immediately said, Great Master, if you see it, no one will agree. Hua Xian stared at Hua Lin and then said, Hua Lin is very straightforward, but we know the logic behind that. Not to mention outsiders want to enter the Kunlun sect. Even many of us in the Kunlun sect have ill intentions. Our Kunlun sect will be in chaos. Plus, the cultivation of these people are too weak, and they don't even have the qualifications to enter our assessment. If they were allowed to enter the Kunlun sect, what would the other disciples' views would be? How do you explain why you want to take the examination to recruit disciples in the future? I don't agree with them entering the Kunlun sect. If you have something to say, say it. What Hua Xian needed to consider was the safety of Kunlun sect. Kunlun Zi let out a long breath. He had already expected this kind of outcome, but he had promised Long Fei. He is not a dictator. Even if these elders and sect masters did not agree, he could not afford to disregard the safety of the Kunlun sect. But, in his heart, he wanted to keep Long Fei. At this moment, a disciple hurriedly ran into the hall and said, Grand Elder, Lord Sect Master, this is bad. Something terrible has happened. Kunlun Zi immediately stood up and asked, What happened? The disciple said, The disciples of the College of Martial Arts Training are going to fight with the people who have come today. As soon as he finished, Hua Lin was the first to rush out, shouted loudly, You dare to be so arrogant in Kunlun sect? You're courting death. Hua Lin. Chapter 1278, Just Don't Kill. Chapter 1278, Just Don't Kill, Get Out of Kunlun sect. Brat, I don't care how strong you are outside. This is Kunlun sect. We don't welcome you here, get out. Why are you wasting words with them? We'll just kick them out. The disciples were extremely arrogant. When they found out about Long Fei's identity and the bounty token, a few of them started a fire, and very quickly, a large number of College of Martial Arts Training disciples rushed over with murderous intent. He had to drive Long Fei and the others out of the Kunlun sect. Li Yuanba blocked at the very front and asked, You want to drive us out? Who do you think you are? Even if your sect leader sees our boss, he still has to be respectful. Who do you think you are? So what if he's arrogant? Arrogant is Laozi's personality. Whoever dares to touch Laozi will have to give it a try. He was exceptionally valiant. The more these people chased them away, the more they didn't want to leave. If they wanted to leave, they would have to leave voluntarily to chase them out. How could they be driven out by these people? This is too presumptuous. If it weren't for the great master saving you, would you all have survived until now? It's one thing if you don't know how to be grateful, but you're still acting so arrogantly here. Get out. The Kunlun sect does not welcome you. Get out of here. The number of disciples gathering at the entrance of the courtyard increased as more and more curses were shouted out. Moreover, these people all had red faces and thick necks. The atmosphere was extremely tense, and it seemed as if they would explode at any moment. Long Fei sat on the chair, supporting his head with his right hand, feeling very irritated from being called by these disciples. If Hua Xian comes, let them leave. Even if Long Fei wanted to stay in the Kunlun sect, he would not hesitate and immediately bring his people away. But what was this? Letting a group of disciples block their entrance. What was this? Should we make a move? Oya asked. Long Fei said, Tell them that they are not allowed to make the first move. If they make the first move, do not hesitate, and directly blast them to the ground. After all, Kunlun Zi was the one who brought them here. Killing is not good. Aoya moved slightly and sent a sound transmission to Li Yuanba and the others. The corner of Li Yuanba's mouth hooked up into a smile, and he said loudly, "Grandson, I'm going to be in the Kunlun sect. What can you do to me? Throw us away? Make your move. Why don't you all try?" Long Fei's orders could not be taken action first. It would be easy if he just let the disciples take action first. This way, Li Yuanba could make their move. Their hands were already itching. Fat Men Chin also sneered. "Are all the disciples of your Kunlun sect cowards? If you want to chase us away, then do it yourself." Adding fuel to the fire. They were adamant. Kunlun-zi had saved them. They were respectful to Kunlun-zi. However, if these Kunlun sect disciples taunted them, they would return with 10 times or even 100 times the clamor. The disciples of College of Martial Arts Training were all fuming with rage. Suddenly, a voice came out from behind the crowd and shouted, "You're too arrogant. If I don't teach you a lesson, aren't you going to bully Kunlun sect?" Before he could finish, the figure had already appeared in front of Li Yuanba. Without waiting for Li Yuanba to react, he kicked his leg out. The kick was extremely fierce and brought along a dense chi aura as it came crashing down. The combination of his moves and his aura was perfect. Li Yuanba's reaction was not slow at all. Both of his legs sank and roots rooted to the ground. The muscles on his chest made 2 kacha sounds, as if they were the sounds of a robot transforming. It went up like steel. Bam! Li Yuanba's body faintly sank, and a strand of energy bounced off his chest. Unable to control himself, he consecutively retreated a few steps. Huolin's right leg that was kicked over felt numb. The kick just now was as though it had hit a steel plate. Exerting force with his right leg, he nailed himself in. Huolin coldly snorted and said, "Such a clamor. Do you think that the Kunlun sect is your home? Do you really think that your bounty of several tens of millions of Xian crystal are powerful? Big guy, don't be too cocky, okay?" Very arrogant. Very arrogant. When the surrounding disciples saw Huolin appear, all of them became excited. Senior Brother Huolin, cripple him. Senior Brother Huolin is the strongest disciple of the College of Martial Arts Training. Let's see if he still dares to be arrogant. Do you really think you're so strong? Brat, this is Kunlun sect. Prepare to die. Many disciples clamored. Who is Huolin? The head disciple of the College of Martial Arts Training, the son of sect master Xian, was also the strongest disciple among the younger generation and had an ancient spirit serpent blood vein. This was also the reason why he was able to enter and exit the Karakoram Hall with the elders from the Kunlun sect. Li Yuanba did not look at Huolin. Instead, he looked at Long Fei and said, "Boss, he started his attack first. Can I do it? Just now, it was just a defense." Li Yuanba did not attack. Defense was not his strong point. Furthermore, a kick was delivered to his chest. It was extremely painful and displeased. Long Fei nodded his head and said, "Since they have already made their move, then you can naturally retaliate. Remember, don't beat them to death." As soon as he finished, Neo Dashin and the others laughed excitedly. Li Yuanba hugged his fists, his neck shook, and a burst of cracking sounds came out from his joints as he stared at Huolin and laughed. "It was you who attacked. Now it's my turn." He took a step forward. Boom! With an explosive sound, the ground beneath his feet shattered into several pieces, and the entire courtyard trembled. Everyone's expression changed. Bang, bang, bang. With each step, it was like an ancient beast trampling the earth. Ferocious. Huolin's forehead turned sinister, and in his heart he shouted, "100 transformations, spirit serpent." Buzz! The blood vein's inherent skill had been activated. His body was wrapped in a spirit serpent shining in golden light. It spitted out its tongue and imperceptibly carried along an ancient defensive force. Huolin's footsteps became heavy as he stared at Li Yuanba. Boom! Li Yuanba suddenly jumped. He formed a fist with his hands. His body leaned back in the air and formed a basket. The god of war hangs the moon. Critical hit. Both fists punched down heavily. Rumble! Rumble! The sound trembled, and streams of power burst out. Huolin's expression changed drastically as the ancient spirit serpent on his body hissed and roared, and his body staggered backwards. Bam! His body pressed against the wall, causing the wall to crack. Huolin's eyes turned sinister, and he said, "It's my turn." When he had blocked Li Yuanba's attack just now, he had only defended with all his might and did not attack. He was very unhappy to be repelled. The ancient spirit serpent on his body was also enraged. He channeled its power and transformed into an attack. Huolin's body was like a spirit serpent that came out of its cave and rushed towards Li Yuanba. It was as fast as lightning. Long Fei frowned. Li Yuanba grinned innocently and said, "That's great." The sarcophagus on his back shook. Boom! Chapter 1279, Life and Death. Chapter 1279, Life and Death. The stone coffin fell. The runes floating on the sarcophagus glowed with a fluorescent light, and then linked onto Li Yuanba's body. In a short moment, Li Yuanba's arms were covered with black, sinister-looking runes. His arms shook. Buzz! Energy exploded, and his body was covered in red light. Anger. He had only used less than 30% of his power for the previous move, but this time he saw Huolin using the blood vein's power, and he also used the strength of the divine spirit blood vein. However, it was still only 30% of his strength. Burning the power in his arms, he looked at Huolin, who was about to attack, and laughed excitedly. "I'm going to attack too." Finished. A punch was thrown out. Boom! Huolin's attack also came down. Boom! When their fists met, both of their arms slightly bent, and in the time it took for lightning to flash, another fist struck out. Boom! Boom! In the time it took for a spark to fly off of a piece of flint, the two had already exchanged more than 10 punches. The more the blast continued, the more shocked Huolin became. His cultivation level is obviously lower than mine. Why is he so powerful? The strength of blood vein. What are the runes on his arms? Could it be that Grandmaster's words are true? Half a minute passed. Hundreds of fists interweaved, and in the end, Huolin's body shot out, causing his internal organs to be unable to endure it. Li Yuanba laughed foolishly. "Why aren't you fighting anymore?" His face was slightly red, making him seem somewhat out of breath. Li Yuanba did not hold anything back. Breathing heavily, he knew that there was nothing much to hide. However, in the eyes of others, his performance was weaker than Huolin's. In that instant, a disciple at the entrance suddenly rushed out and thrusted his sword towards Li Yuanba's head. 60 million Shin crystal are mine. Ha ha! A sudden ambush was unexpected. Huolin frowned and shouted loudly, "Be careful!" Long Fei's face did not change at all. In addition, the 7 King Kongs was the same. There were no changes in his expression, as if he did not care at all. In that instant, Li Yuanba slightly raised his eyes and grabbed with his right hand. Buzz! A massive battle axe appeared in the void. With a wave of the battle axe, the back of the axe was cut apart. Plop! It was like swatting a fly and chopping down with one move. The sneak-attacking disciple instantly fell to the ground as his body spasmed and blood spewed out of his mouth. His entire body instantly turned into a dead dog. Li Yuanba did not even look at him, but stared at him and said, "Let's continue. I'll use 50% of my strength to fight you." Ha. Huolin was stunned. The disciples at the gate were also stunned. Is this a human? He's crazy, right? How strong is he? How did he attack just now? Holy sh**T. My brain is about to explode. How did this guy do it? 50% strength. Could it be that he had only used the power of 4 levels when fighting with Huolin? What a freak. Look at those people behind him. They clearly saw the sneak attack, but they didn't react at all. Their eyes didn't move at all. Aren't they too confident? Li Yuanba's move caused everyone to be shocked. Huolin was extremely shocked in his heart and said, "Killing someone in the Kunlun sect, that is a serious crime." Li Yuanba shrugged and said, "I didn't kill him. He isn't dead yet." Following that, Li Yuanba added, "My boss won't let me kill anyone, so I won't. Don't worry, I won't kill you either." Very direct, and there was no disdain in his eyes. It was that simple. That's how crazy he is. Huolin gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. To him, Li Yuanba was looking down on him, and he was extremely unhappy. The power in his heart also started to surge. Snake scales that are faintly visible on the surface of the skin. In the exchange of moves, just now, he did not use his full strength. At this time, he decided to use his taboo power to get back at her. Just as Huolin was about to attack again, Hua Xian let out a loud shout and said, "Stop!" The disciples all left in an instant. Hua Xian walked into the courtyard and smiled apologetically at Long Fei. "It's my bad teaching that made you suffer." As they spoke, Hua Xian glared at Huolin and asked, "When did you make your move?" That kind of forbidden force was extremely powerful. Furthermore, Huolin was not able to control himself well, so he was worried that something might happen to her. Huolin slightly retracted the strength on his body and said with a heavy tone, "They are too arrogant, and I couldn't bear to watch, so I attacked." "Nonsense!" Hua Xian shouted, looked at the disciple who was half dead on the ground and said, "Carry him out, recover his injuries, and expel him from Kunlun's sect." Long Fei was startled. He was a little shocked by this kind of accident. At this moment, a few clan elders rushed over. One of the clan elders from College of Martial Arts Training looked at his disciple lying in a pool of blood and immediately shouted, "Injuring people in Kunlun's sect, you guys are too presumptuous, aren't you? Men, capture them all." 8 King Kong immediately moved. He instantly entered a battle-ready state. The giant spirit axe in Li Yuanba's hands moved and pointed at the elder who spoke. "Let me see who King dares to move." His aura soared to the sky, arrogant beyond compare. The elder's face grew sinister as he roared, "You still dare to be so arrogant? I think you are tired of living." Hua Xian's voice sank, and he shouted, "Elder Lu, who is the sect master?" Lu Qianhuan's expression changed, and he did not dare to say another word. Hua Xian's face recovered, looked at Long Fei, and said, "Little brother Long, since things have already gotten to this point, I think you should leave the Kunlun sect, right?" Long Fei exhaled, slowly stood up, walked over, and asked, "Is this Kunlun Zi's idea?" Hua Xian said, "This is my intention." Lu Qianhuan immediately said, "Get out of here." Many disciples started clamoring, "Get out of Kunlun's sect. Hurry up and get lost. You are not welcome here." Hit a drowning dog? There was not a single place in the Chaos Realm that Long Fei could stay at. From the Water City S, to the Yuan Yang Clan S, to the Lin Yu Castle S, Long Fei was running everywhere. There wasn't even a place to live. There wasn't even a place to rest. There was no place for Yang Yu to hang out with Aoya. Now, look at the faces of these people. If you talk properly, we will leave as well. If not for Kunlun Zi, we would not have come here, but... Long Fei paused for a moment. As soon as he got the idea of going against the plan, he suddenly said, "You want me to scram? I have to stay." Li Yuanba bellowed, "That's right, we're not leaving. What can you guys do to us?" Hua Xian frowned. Lu Qianhuan sneered, "Just you trash. What is your cultivation? Grade 1 Japanese? What's the cultivation level of the trash behind you? You want to stay? Sure. If you have the guts, then charge into the 3 trials of life and death in our Kunlun sect." Hua Xian's expression changed, and he said, "Elder Lu." Kunlun Zi also flew over and said, "Don't barge in. Trash, trash." Long Fei's gaze turned cold, and he said, "I will barge in." Chapter 1280, Evil Born from the Bile. Chapter 1280, Evil Born from the Bile. I will charge. Long Fei's voice shook, and all the anger in his heart had to be vented. Was he being looked down upon? Let's see who is trash and who is trash. We can't charge in. Don't go, Kunlun Zi said again. It's too dangerous inside. We can't go inside. The other voice was said by Huolin. He didn't know why, but when he fought against Li Yuanba, he realized that the strength of these people was indeed not simple. You know, that was a mechanism left behind by the Kunlun sect, and even now, no one had been able to pass it. How could Long Fei pass it alone? One's cultivation base was simply not enough. However, without waiting for Long Fei to finish speaking, The corner of Lu Qianhuan's mouth curled up into a proud smile, and he said, "Men, just treat it as saying the truth. You already agreed to it earlier. You won't go back on your word, right? It's fine to go back on your word, but you have to admit that you're a woman." Haha. He didn't want to give Long Fei the chance to reject him. Li Yuanba shouted and angrily said, "Old fart, who are you calling a woman? Do you believe that I won't kill you?" 8 King Kong was very unhappy. Seeing that Kunlun Zi and Huolin had both said that they couldn't challenge it, Aoya frowned and said softly, "Long Fei, we could just leave the Kunlun sect." "Right. Boss, let's just leave. The world is too big. I don't believe there is no place for us to stay. Let's go." None of them wanted Long Fei to take the risk. Lu Qianhuan laughed coldly. "Are you afraid? I thought the youth master of Hellgate was really amazing, but it turns out he's also a coward." "Nothing special." Hua Xian's eyes darkened and said, "Elder Lu, you're talking nonsense again?" And then Hua Xian looked at Long Fei seriously and said, "Kunlun's sect has a rule. Whoever passes the 3 trials of life and death that Master has created, everyone in the Kunlun sect can do anything for you and let you all join. But, little brother Long Fei, up until now, no one has been able to pass. Even the Grand Elder can only barely pass the 2nd trial. As for what the 3rd trial is about, no one knows, so I hope you seriously consider it." He did not wish for Long Fei to die in Kunlun's sect. After entering the life and death trials, he would definitely die here. Long Fei asked, "Has anyone ever passed?" Kunlun Zi said, "The 3 stages of life and death are extremely dangerous. We cannot enter." Lu Qianhuan, on the other hand, had a cold smile on his face as he said, "You should get the hell out of Kunlun's sect." "Haha." Many of the elders revealed a sneer of disdain. Long Fei also laughed faintly. "If no one passes, then I have to go challenge him even more. My task is very simple. Expel this guy from Kunlun's sect." He moved his finger and pointed at Lu Qianhuan. Lu Qianhuan's face darkened and shouted, "Kid, what did you say?" Long Fei laughed. "Didn't you hear it clearly? Then, let me say it again. My condition is that you be expelled from Kunlun's sect. Do you hear me now?" Lu Qianhuan's face secretly changed. Flames spouted out of his eyes, and he said, "Kid, who do you think you are to expel me from the Kunlun sect? If you are capable, you have passed the 3 trials of life and death. Don't worry, I will naturally pass. Prepare to pack up and leave." From the very beginning, Long Fei had already decided to pass the 3 trials of life and death. 8 King Kong needed systematic training. Their strength was too chaotic to unleash their true power. Li Yuanba's God power, the spiritual energy of a heavenly spirit, the power of the Fat Man Chen's divine armor, and so on and so forth. Their strength still hadn't completely come out yet, so their strength was very important. Their promotion would bring about an increase to the gods' martial sex gang. This was the second reason why Long Fei stayed. He needed the gods' martial sex level to increase. He needed to activate the transmission gate. Thus, he had to think of a way to stay, and he needed some time to improve. "Humph!" Lu Qianhuan coldly snorted and said, "Brat, I'm just waiting to see how you'll die inside." Kunlun Zi's face changed slightly. Hua Xian's expression also secretly changed. Quite a few elders revealed a proud look. Long Fei said, "Let's begin, bring me along." Li Yuanba pulled Long Fei back and said, "Boss, let me go. My skin is rough and my flesh is thick. I can't take it." "You're resistant? Am I resistant?" Fat Minchin took a step forward and said, "Boss, let me go. Let me go." Even the 8 King Kong-s were competing with each other to replace Long Fei and enter the 3 trials of life and death. Long Fei smiled faintly. "I am your boss. No matter how strong you are, no matter how strong you are, how strong can you be compared to me? Can I resist it? Don't worry. I'll get out safely." Aoya, Ro Air, Yang Yu, the 3 of you take good care of these 8 people. Don't provoke any more trouble. Wait for me to come out first. Long Fei was worried that Li Yuanba and the others would cause trouble because of him. He was very clear about Li Yuanba's personality. Oya nodded and said, "Be careful." Yang Yu and Roer's eyes were also filled with worry. "Don't worry. When have I ever let you down?" Long Fei smiled and followed him out. They walked to the depths of Kunlun sect, in a small cove. This was one of the forbidden grounds of the Kunlun sect, and without permission, no one was allowed to enter. At the entrance of the forbidden area, Hua Xian asked seriously once again, "Long Fei, you can still choose now. Once you enter, you will no longer have the chance to choose." Long Fei did not say anything, but stepped forward. Kunlunzi secretly clenched his fists, and his figure slowly disappeared from the forbidden grounds. Only Kunlunzi and Hua Xian were left in the surroundings. Hua Xian couldn't help but ask, "Master, why do you want him to stay behind? You could have clearly prevented him from entering the 3 trials of life and death." Kunlunzi was the esteemed elder. He could indeed prevent Long Fei from entering the 3 trials of life and death, but he didn't, because he felt that Long Fei could bring about a miracle and pass the 3 trials of life and death. Therefore, he did not forcefully stop Long Fei. The 3 stages of life and death are the things left behind by the master. We have no idea what this thing is, but maybe he will be able to bring it out. Kunlunzi said indifferently. Kunlunzi looked at the forbidden grounds and muttered to himself, "Long Fei, I'll leave everything to you." In another place, one of the elders said excitedly, "The statistics is good. Those 8 people's bounty altogether amount to 470 million Xian crystal. 470 million pills. Oh my God, how many Xian crystal are there? How many can they afford to cultivate?" All of the elders revealed looks of shock. Lu Qianhuan laughed coldly. "The chance is right in front of us. Now that Long Fei isn't here, this is our best chance. As long as we can take care of these 8 people, then it's not impossible for us to build a Kunlun sect. Wealth comes from danger. Evil arose from the edge of courage." Chapter 1281, Devouring Life Essence. Chapter 1281, Devouring Life Essence. Deep within the forbidden area, there was a cave. There were a few words carved into the cave. Life and death in the 3 trials of life and death were up to fate. Life and death are decided by fate. Long Fei's life doesn't belong to anyone. Long Fei said lightly as he stepped into the cave. At this moment, the aura in the cave suddenly fluctuated, as though Long Fei had triggered some sort of mechanism. Kacha, kacha, kacha. The sound of heavy machinery colliding rang out. What caught his eyes were the powerful and unrivaled robots. A long passage was filled with robots that began to attack without any purpose. Their attacks had no features, and each of them were different. It could be said that the corridor that was less than a kilometer in length had no blind spots. Shaolin Temple, Murin Gang. This scene made Long Fei think of the wood puppet lane in his previous life. If he wanted to leave, he would have to pass through this wood puppet lane. The thing in front of him was not made of wood, but a special metal. There was no blind spot on his body, and it could be said that even if he stuck his wings, it would still be difficult to fly over. Long Fei carefully studied it for a few minutes, but he really did not find anything special about it. "I don't know anything about mechanical arts. Since it's a challenge, then I'll force my way in." Long Fei took a step forward. Not waiting for him to react, an iron fist smashed towards him. Huff! Long Fei's right fist moved, heavily punching out. Boom! Crack! Long Fei's joints exploded. His entire right arm went numb. The pain was extremely intense. His entire body was blown out by the robot. His face was shocked. Damn, what a strong power. "I can't do it." Long Fei frowned. He stepped forward once again, the power in his body surging. The robot threw out a punch. Long Fei's right hand shook. The golden cudgel fell down, and with a swing of the staff, it smashed down. Boom! One of his arms was broken. However, in that moment, the broken arm suddenly flew up and caught up with the attack again. Without waiting for Long Fei's reaction, he threw another punch forward. Boom! He was sent flying once again. F***CK. Long Fei could not help but curse. He's completely invincible. If these robots can stop me from commanding, then I can level up. Again, Long Fei tensed up and once again barged in. Kunlun's sect, Kunlun's room. Hua Xian was called over to his room and asked about Long Fei's breakthrough. Hua Xian said, "There's been no progress, and we are not sure what is happening inside. Master, why do you care so much about him?" He even brought him along with him to the Kunlun sect, which is currently in a mess. The Hell Gates, Zhan Wushuang, has risen mightily. The Hell Gate has restrained their ancient spiritual treasure everywhere, and even the annual examination for the Tower Question of God is getting closer and closer. I really can't understand why you brought Long Fei back to the Kunlun sect at this time. Well, Xian said, he should be able to protect himself in the face of trouble. A large part of the reason why the storm was stirred was because of Long Fei. It was he who caused the Chaos Realm storm to react in such a way that it became even more violent. Kunlunzi took out a golden pellet from his chest pocket and asked, "Do you know what pellet this is?" Hua Xian took a careful look and said, "I've never seen it before. Why is it golden? Is there such a pill?" Kunlunzi said, "This is a life essence. It has a lifespan of 100 years. Hua Xian's eyes shook. His entire person was in a daze, and said in shock, "Is there such a medicinal pellet in this world?" Kunlunzi did not reply, but continued to speak. "Do you know who refined this? It's Long Fei." Huh. This time, Hua Xian was even more shocked and muttered, "Impossible, impossible. He's only a little over 20 years old. How could he refine such a heaven-defying pellet? Master, could it be a mistake? Why is there a pill that can increase lifespan? Wouldn't those reclusive and peerless powerhouse of the Chaos Realm want to overturn the heavens? 100 years. How many powerhouse are at risk of running out of longevity? This kind of pill is impossible." Hua Xian did not believe it. Kunlunzi didn't believe it either in his heart. Thus, he did not use this elixir for a long time. Was there really such a powerful pill in the world? I'm afraid the divinity doesn't even have one. If such a pill were to enter the ancient holy battlefield, what would happen? Kunlunzi calmed down and said, "The reason why I called you here today is to have you protect me. I want to swallow this pill. I don't know what will happen next. If anything happens to me, it's my own choice and it has nothing to do with anyone else." He was worried that Hua Xian would make a move against Long Fei and the others. Hua Xian's brows tightened and said, "Master, this kind of medicinal pellet has never been verified, so it cannot be used easily. I mean, if something happens." Kunlunzi smiled faintly. "If anything happens, it's also my life." Actually, Kunlunzi's lifespan was almost up, and if he did not consume it, he would not be able to live for long. Moreover, he still had a very important mission on his person. He had to take the risk. Hua Xian's brows tightened and said, "Master, no need for that." Kunlunzi's heart calmed down. His breathing steadied as he said, "I'm going to start." Finished. The elixir slowly placed it into his mouth. The elixir slowly cut open his mouth, and the medicinal strength slowly opened up as well. Next, his body suddenly trembled, his face flushed red. Every inch of his skin moved about like boiling bubbles. Powerful energy leaked out one after another. Kunlunzi couldn't hold it in for a moment, and his eyeballs bulged out of their sockets. His eyes were bloodshot. "Master!" Hua Xian's face changed. He wanted to rush forward. Kunlunzi shouted, "Don't come up. Hua Xian, I don't know if I can take it. If I can't, you have to remember that we, the Kunlun sect, have an irreconcilable enmity with each other. As long as there's a chance, I must take revenge." This was passed down by the master. You must remember, that was his mission. This mission was also given to him by the previous great clan elder, but it was just that this mission was too strong. The 9 secret warrior family was too strong. He could not shake them at all. He was too weak. Now he's saying this because there's a force in his body he can't control. If it breaks out, I'm afraid I'll die. Hua Xian shook and said, "Master, disciple has remembered." All right. As if Kunlunzi had heard his last words, The control in his heart suddenly retracted, and his face became tranquil and calm. As he said, "Come, I'm going for broke." He released all of his strength. A red light fell from the sky, and the entire chaos realm became dark. Chapter 12:82 Sovereign's Fury. Chapter 12:82 Sovereign's Fury. Boom. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Above the nine heavens, thunder roiled, and the power of thunder bombarded downwards. At this moment, the entire chaos realm lost its luster. The day turned into night. Countless powerhouse opened their eyes, looking for this strange place. Buzz. A red light shot out. The power of destiny, a heaven-defying longevity, was poured down like a stream of energy. At this moment, Chaos Realm was shaken beyond compare. Lifespan, heaven-defying longevity. What kind of power is this? How could there be such a power? Go investigate it immediately. The mysterious 9 secret warrior family. Bounty Gate, the Thousand Alliance sect, countless peerless powerhouse hidden deep in the mountains and lakes, and even the most mysterious tower question of God Force in the Chaos Realm, the powerhouse was palpitating with eagerness. Lifespan. Anyone wants it, especially those powerhouse whose lifespans were about to run out. Their thirst for lifespan was stronger than anyone else's. The sudden appearance of this kind of power at this moment caused great waves to appear in their silent hearts, which eventually became monstrous waves. It's above Kunlun Mountains. Could it be that someone is changing his fate in Kunlun Mountains? Some time ago, the life essence that was passed down in the Xiao Yao Business Alliance for 100 years were bought by the Kunlun sect. Could it be this pellet? Immediately send people to Xiao Yao Business Alliance. In a certain cave, Wild God's face was filled with shock. It's really a life essence. It's really a life essence, this old thing, Kunlun Z. We really swallowed that life essence. I didn't expect that there would be such a heaven-defying pill in this world. Wild God clenched his fists tightly, his teeth itching from anger. He should have offered a higher price. Why? The God Disappear powder had played such a big role. So why can't I trust them? Wild God blamed himself and wished he could give himself a big slap in the face. At that time, he didn't believe the 100-year-old life essence at all, but now, his intestines were green with regret. Yes, Xiao Yao Business Alliance. The people from Xiao Yao Business Alliance must know who refined that elixir. Of course, Wild God knew, and the other Powerhouse S also knew. Many Powerhouse S rushed to Xiao Yao Business Alliance. Xiao Yao Business Alliance headquarters, Xiao Yao Clan. At this moment, surrounded by the people of the Hell Gate, and then there was Kunlun Z. The red light blasted into his body and continued for 3 minutes. The disciples and elders of the Kunlun sect all rushed out. None of them knew what had happened. Until the red light disappeared, the vortex in the sky disappeared, and the land regained its splendor. Only then did the disciples of Kunlun sect slowly move away, their hearts thinking about the strange scene that just happened. It's a success. It's a success. Ha! Kunlun Z couldn't help but laugh excitedly. He could clearly feel that his body was different. He could clearly feel that his body was filled with energy, and he was filled with power. Kunlun Z was beyond excited, and said, "It's really a life essence, really a life essence." Hua Xian was dumbstruck. He stood at the door like an idiot, and muttered, "Impossible! This is impossible! How could there be such a pill in the world?" Not only did it increase his lifespan, what made Kunlun Z pleasantly surprised was that his cultivation had broken through as well, and the energy in his body was very vigorous. He could break through again at any time. At this moment, Kunlun Z immediately said, "I will be in closed-door training for a period of time. The life essence must be kept a secret, and I cannot let Long Fei leave. This is a very serious matter. We absolutely can't be careless." Hua Xian also understood and said, "Disciple knows." Finished. Hua Xian left the room. The waves in his heart were as big as the heavens and the earth. In that instant, The amount of information he had touched upon was too much, and his brain was unable to handle it. The enemy of 9 secret warrior family. 100 years old life essence. This made him feel a little dizzy as he walked, and he thought to himself, life essence, if we can control life essence, then we can control all the powerhouse S. If that's the case. Kunlun sect. He saw the hope for the rise of the Kunlun sect. At the same time, Lu Qianhuan returned to his room and said, there must be a demon in this natural phenomenon. Long Fei must be rid of it. Let's start with the 8 people beside him. Get rid of them. The Xian Crystal's bounty is ours. With this money, we can rebuild the sect, and at that time, you are the great elders that started the sect and enjoy countless cultivation resources. The elders became excited. He was also rapidly making plans. Chaos realm, because of the appearance of the life essence, shook intensely. At the same time, in another world, a world that stood above all other planes, the sovereign realm, in the void, the 12 sovereigns stood there in midair. It was as if there were 12 unchanging and gigantic statues. Everyone was emitting an irresistible might. Destiny God, why would such a pill appear? How can you allow this pill to appear in a human world when you control the longevity of 100,000 dimensions? They're just a bunch of ants, our playthings. Their lifespan was given to them by us, and now they actually have the power to escape your control. Shouldn't you do something about it? The 11 supreme gods all looked at Destiny God. There were no ripples on the Destiny God's face as he faintly said, 100-year-old life essence. This kind of medicinal pellet actually appeared. To think that there's actually someone who can escape the control of fate. This bunch of ants, they are delusional enough to think that they are going against my fate. All right. As the sound of his voice faded, the void trembled. Destiny God turned his palm, and a shadow condensed in the palm of his hand. Buzz! On his huge palm, a person slowly condensed. His body emitted a golden light as he knelt down and said, Greetings, Master. Destiny God said coldly, God Scorpio, go kill the person who refined this pill for me. Yes, sir. Then, with a flip of his hand, Destiny God sent the figure in his hand into a space-time tunnel. Rumble. The sky above Chaos Realm split open. A figure descended from the sky like a meteor, blasting a huge crater in the ground. Destiny God laughed coldly. Those who try to rebel against me and those who try to break free from the control of their fate must all die. Ants, tremble. The sovereign was enraged. Chaos Realm was shocked. The Kunlun sect was also planning an assassination attempt, a coup d'etat. However, Long Fei did not know about any of these. His face was bruised, and several wounds on his body were so deep that even his bones could be seen. He was in an extremely sorry state. However, behind him, the group of robots all became a section. Broken limbs could be seen everywhere, and they could no longer be connected together. F*CK. Arrogant with your father? I can't kill you. Long Fei gasped. The first of the 3 trials of life and death had been forcefully passed. In all of history, only Long Fei, this madman, had dared to rush through. Ding! Chapter 1283, Soul Losting Powder. Chapter 1283, Soul Losting Powder. Just as Long Fei passed the first trial, the system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations, player Long Fei, for passing the first round of life and death. You have received 100,000 experience points, 10,000 holy source, and 10,000 points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the system's special item, Loyalty Stone. Huh? Loyalty Stone? Isn't it possible to fuse it with a card? Once I succeed, I will become a permanent call card character. Damn, these are hundreds of millions of points. Long Fei was greatly shocked in his heart. He did not expect the system to reward him with such a luxurious item. He currently had a piece of absolute call card S-piece and a weapon master's possession power. The interests of these 2 special items were the same. They could even use Loyalty Stone S to fuse them. If they succeeded, they could permanently summon them. Due to not being complete, old Lord Taishan's possession power could not be fused. Long Fei was secretly shocked. This is a good thing. Seems like I've come to the right place for the life and death trials this time. If such a powerful object can be rewarded in the first stage, then what about the second stage? And then, Long Fei strode into the second stage. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for having entered the second of the 3 trials of life and death. Ladder question of God. Long Fei seemed to have entered a mysterious domain. In this empty space, there were steps that led to an invisible darkness. There was no other way, only these floating steps. Ladder question of God. Let's see how you were able to reach the heavens. Long Fei stepped onto the stairs. In that instant, boom, the steps moved, and a gigantic man-eating flower rose up from the stairs, swallowing Xiang Long Fei whole. The speed was so fast that Long Fei had never expected it, but, however, the Xiao Luo machete in Long Fei's hands did not slow down by even a little as it slashed down with its blade. Ding! Activate paralysis attribute. The man-eating flower was petrified. While he was sick, it wanted to kill him. Long Fei leapt up and slashed down heavily. Boom! The man-eating flower was immediately uprooted by Long Fei. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining 10,000 experience points for killing man-eating flower, 1,000 experience points for killing Holy Source, and 1 energy values point. Experience points is not bad. And then, Long Fei took another step forward, and yet another higher-level man-eating flower rushed out. Long Fei was secretly pleased. I didn't expect this to be a dungeon. He came to the right place. He came to the right place. Long Fei fought with all his might to kill. To others, this was not a ladder question of God, but a path to hell. But to Long Fei, this is the way to heaven. Demon B steps one after another. He had plenty of experience. It was simply too great to refuse. If he wanted to compete for the first stage, Long Fei would rather go for the second stage 10 times. Slowly, he did not dare to think like this anymore. A full day later, rumble, with a huge sound. Just the sound of the demon beast's roaring voice alone almost made Long Fei fall over. A 7-star monster rushed out with incomparable malevolence. The moment it rushed out, it directly pounced towards Xiang Long Fei. Long Fei's face changed slightly, and he shouted out loud, "You want to eat this, Daddy? You're not qualified. Suck star over China." Long Fei turned his right hand over, and his body suddenly stuck close to the stairs. His palms smashed onto the demon beast's body. The powerful energy in his hand tumbled and crazily sucked the energy from the demon beast's body. Boom, boom, boom. In less than half a minute, the demon beast had become a skinny corpse, and its body had been completely hollowed out. Bang, bang, bang. Long Fei consecutively stepped 3 steps forward. The 3 huge beasts rushed out, and when Long Fei absorbed the energy released by the demon beast, he exploded. Blasted for me. The entire way. Very difficult. However, Long Fei walked with incomparable calm with every step. Kunlun sect. It's been 2 days. How's boss? I can't wait. I need to go in. Li Yuanba paced back and forth with incomparable anxiety. Ever since Long Fei left, he had always been worried. Yuanba, don't keep walking around. You're giving me a headache. The sky spirit said. Li Yuanba said, "It's all because of that Lu Qianhuan. What the F **K? If he didn't fan the flames, how could boss have entered the life and death trials? I've heard about it in the past 2 days. The 3 trials of life and death were created by the Kunlun sect. So far, no one has been able to pass them in a few thousand years. No way. I want to go in," Li Yuanba said as he was about to leave the courtyard. Aoya immediately said, "Tall guy, what did the boss say before he left?" Yang Yu also said, "King Kong, Long Fei will definitely be fine." Neo Dashin sat on the stairs and muttered, "I support the King Kong. 2 days have passed. Who knows what will happen? Who knows if it will be the 3 trials of life and death? If they do something to the boss, We don't know. These 2 days, they had been worrying about Long Fei. They had never thought that someone would attack them. While they were arguing, a special scent slowly spread throughout the yard. At this moment, the courtyard door was pushed open. Lu Qianhuan walked in with a complacent smile on his face. He looked at Li Yuanba and asked coldly, "Was it you who called me just now?" He was angry to begin with. Now that he saw Lu Qianhuan, Li Yuanba's anger got even angrier, and he said, "I won't call you now. I'm going to kill you now." As soon as he finished, boom! Li Yuanba took a step forward and rushed towards Lu Qianhuan. Lu Qianhuan didn't even move at all. The pleased cold smile on his face grew even wider as he watched Li Yuanba charge at him. Come. Just as Li Yuanba was about to rush to Lu Qianhuan's side, his body felt uncontrollable. The power in his body crazily leaked out, and he couldn't control it at all. His eyes went dizzy, and in the end, his body became paralyzed and directly fell in front of Lu Qianhuan. Li Yuanba's vision gradually blurred. Turning his head to the side, he shouted towards the other people who were still in a daze, "Quick, run!" Bam! Lu Qianhuan stepped right on top of Li Yuanba's head and coldly laughed. Run? Running into the pot is about right. Ha ha! At this moment, a wave of people rushed into the yard. Neo Dashin's gaze darkened as he said, "What did you do to the King Kong?" The King Bull's blood moved. In this instant, Neo Dashin's body also went soft, and he immediately fainted. The Sky Spirit was enraged and rushed out. Just like Li Yuanba, he was also about to faint in front of Lu Qianhuan. Lu Qianhuan kicked him and sneered, "What ate King Kong? They're all trash." Ha ha ha! Come again. Chapter 1284, Special Awards. Chapter 1284, Special Awards. Very, very arrogant. Lu Qianhuan stepped on Li Yuanba's head, then on the head of the Heavenly Spirit, then smiled at the remaining people. 8 King Kong. Ha! The 8 pieces of trash are more or less the same. The black knife was enraged, its gaze tensed up, the blade flames on its body ignited, and it rushed forward. Boom! The black blade flames came crashing down. Lu Qianhuan was still motionless. Before the black knife's attack could fall, her entire person fainted and fell in front of Lu Qianhuan. Ha ha ha! Another piece of trash. Lu Qianhuan laughed proudly. Who's the next trash? Fat Man Chun, Arhut, Dragon Subduing, Lin Yusheng. The 4 of them could no longer hold it in. They had never been humiliated like this before. The 4 of them rushed out at the same time. Oya lost her cool as well. The 8 King Kong was one body, and she was also very unhappy about Lu Qianhuan. As the power in her body moved, she immediately felt a strange smell enter her body. Before she could control herself, her body began to soften. The power in his body vanished. Both of his eyes blacked out, but he quickly looked at Yang Yu and said, Don't. Plop, plop, plop. 5 consecutive sounds, and the 5 of them fell to the ground unconscious. At this moment, the 8 King Kong was completely annihilated. Only Yang Yu and Gue Ro were left. At this point in time, everyone would lose their cool. The blood vein energy in Yang Yu's body surged. He released the angel wings and charged forward. Lu Qianhuan jumped in shock and said excitedly, "Wow, a Birdman is really powerful. I never thought that he would actually possess an angel blood vein, but... So what if you're an angel blood vein?" Boom! Yang Yu's entire person fell to the ground. At this moment, Gue Ro suddenly understood. We cannot use our power. Lu Qianhuan laughed coldly and said, "I didn't expect you to actually see through it, but so what? With your cultivation, can you even escape?" There was a smell in the air. It was something similar to smoke. Once the power was released, the scent of a blood vein's inherent skill would immediately enter the body, and then the released power would be released by the seal, causing one to become unconscious. Without the antidote, there was no way to break through. Lu Qianhuan sneered, soul-losting powder, divine-level knockout medicine. Only I, Lu Qianhuan, am able to refine the antidote. So what if you know about it now? You want me to do it? Or do it yourself? Ha! Lu Qianhuan laughed proudly. He did not care about a mere Gue Rou. Gue Rou's brows moved, and hundreds of thin lines twined around his 10 fingers. His fingers exerted a little strength, but he used just a tiny bit of strength. Her body wouldn't be able to take it. Her body was too weak. With all his might, he shouted in his heart, "Great puppet technique! Idea raise flowers bloom!" Boom, boom, boom. Several explosions sounded in succession. Aoya, Yangyu, Niu Dashin, Lin Yusheng, Black Knife, Arhut, dragons subduing all of them were suddenly pulled back by a strong force, their bodies piled up together. Buzz! With a muffled sound, a thick layer of dirt rose up from the ground and wrapped around them like a giant flower bud. Do everything. Gue Rou's body sank as the idea loosened its grip. Great Vidra, I'm sorry. My powers are unable to protect you all. Plop. Gue Rou's body trembled. He fell unconscious. Lu Qianhuan's brows tightened and instantly rushed forward. Looking at a huge yellow flower bud, he shouted, "Break him for me!" Boom! Several disciples rushed up and heavily crashed into it. There was no reaction at all. These soil were not ordinary soil, but soil that possessed Gue Rou's mental energy. In this world, there was nothing stronger than the mental strength of a great puppet master. When one's spiritual force was infused into the soil, there was no way to break it. Lu Qianhuan went crazy. These people were hundreds of millions of Xian crystal. He had done all sorts of preparations, but in the end he only got 3 King Kong. This was not what he wanted. Lu Qianhuan's strength crazily smashed against it. Completely useless. The bud did not move. No matter how strong one's strength was, it was useless. Lu Qianhuan instantly rushed to Gue Rou's side and kicked him, damnable thing. He quickly took out the soul-losting powder's antidote. Gue Rou's body was in great pain as she slowly woke up. Seeing that she was still in the courtyard, she laughed. "You won't get anything, right?" Lu Qianhuan grabbed Gue Rou's hair and dragged her out to the courtyard. "Untie for me." Immediately. Gue Rou laughed. Dream on. If her mental state was in a normal situation, she would have instantly controlled Lu Qianhuan, but she was currently very weak and was unable to concentrate at all. Bam! Lu Qianhuan grabbed Gue Rou's hair and smashed it onto the ground. Gue Rou was bleeding profusely. Lu Qianhuan yelled out, as he enunciated each word clearly, "I'll have you remove them. Do you hear me?" Gue Rou stared at Lu Qianhuan and said, "Even if you kill me, I will not remove it. You want to obtain all the rewards from their 8 King Kong? Keep dreaming. You." At this moment, an elder walked into the courtyard. Immediately, Lu Qianhuan's expression changed slightly as he shouted in a serious tone, "Bring the 3 of them and this bitch." Then he left the yard in a hurry. After leaving the courtyard, Lu Qianhuan did not stop at all and rushed towards the Karakoram Palace. On the way, he stopped Yang Wanna halfway. After taking down Yang Wanu, Lu Qianhuan finally relaxed a little. However, this plan exceeded his expectations. He had looked down on Gue Rou's strength, but never could he imagine that she, who was a puppet master, could actually control the earth. What do we do now? If the matter is exposed, I'm afraid. The faces of the few elders turned pale. Lu Qianhuan shouted, "What are you afraid of?" The great clan elder was in closed-door cultivation with just what Xian? He's no match for us at all. And who has evidence that we did it? If you force us into a corner, immediately change the Kunlun sect into a new dynasty. The anger in Lu Qianhuan's heart was unquenchable. He had to get the other 5 Vajra body, more than 400 million Xian crystal. The temptation was too great. Rumble, rumble, rumble. A huge sound resounded. Long Fei's entire body was covered in blood, and wounds were everywhere on his body. In front of him, an incomparably large demon beast was even more injured than he was. Come again. Long Fei took a step forward. The golden cudgel that was close to the demon beast's hand swung its staff. Ding! Activate paralysis attribute. What I want is the paralysis attribute. After fighting for half a day, The demon beast finally activated its numbing attribute. Long Fei swung the golden cudgel, and it combusted, striking down heavily. Boom, boom, boom. One stick, one stick. When his HP fell, so did his blood. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for passing the second round, obtaining a special reward. What would that be? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.